Apron. Blue Apron sends gourmet recipes and all the fresh ingredients you need to make them right to your door. Our listeners get their first 2 meals for free. Just go to blueapron.com/Joey and start cooking incredible meals at home with Blue Apron. That's blueapron.com/Joey. Show is also brought to you by MeUndies.com. Go to MeUndies.com right now. Go to MeUndies.com/Joey right now and get 20% off of your first order. Plus, shipping is always free for orders in the U.S. and Canada. And the show is brought to you by Onnit.com. Go to Onnit.com and use code word church to get 10% off of all of the great optimization products.
What's happened, you bad motherfuckers? Monday, February 1st. You know what happens on the 1st? Everybody's down to zero, bitches. We're all the fucking same on the 1st.
Paying the rent.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
We're all fucking the same on the 1st. Tom Rhodes in studio. My main man, as usual, the Flying Jew. What happened this weekend?
I had a great weekend.
You went to see pugs? Look
Yeah,
at you.
you
You went down. You didn't buy one?
No.
You didn't adopt one? What the fuck?
I wish, but I took a page out of your book. Ever since I've been dating my girlfriend, you try to buy expensive gifts. You try to like jewelry. Like they tell you that's
Bullshit.
what you need to
you
buy.
Go to Zales, you get fucked in the ass. They put you on a credit card.
Yeah.
You get 21 points for a fucking ring that's hollow.
They fuck you.
They fuck you.
And it's never. I like giving gifts, and I've never quite gotten the reaction from her that I've wanted. She's always liked it, but it's never like excited or speechless. And this, I told her that I was like, the gift you're gonna like the most is the one that I spent the least on. I called the pug rescue. I said, "Do you mind? Is it cool? My girlfriend loves pugs. Can we come down and play?" And they said, "Of course." So we went down there and spent like 2 hours just playing with dogs, and that's all she's been talking about. She had a great time.
Sometimes it's the simplest shit. You know what I'm saying? Right or wrong?
That's beautiful.
It really is beautiful. Look at Leaf.
And we went to like a fancy dinner the night before. Cost like $100. It was a nice dinner. And then it's the playing with shelter dogs that it made her year. Like she's saying, we have to do it all the time now. But you both have good marriages, so it's you know what it takes, and it's I'm learning now because this is my first real.
Well, it's nice to be with a woman who is happy with simple things.
It really is. Isn't that crazy? How
my wife, she didn't want an expensive wedding ring. Like I wanted to, the ego in the man. I wanted I never thought I'd get married, so whatever. But I thought always you got to get a spectacular ring. She insisted on like a really simple ring. She hates spending money. She doesn't like to shop.
How long have you been married now?
5 years in April.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere either. Like you went and then you came
I was the
back
last
married.
person in the world I thought would get married.
Really?
Yeah. And my parents are divorced. I thought it was an outdated institution and didn't want anything to do with it. Never saw an example of a good marriage. But my wife is amazing. She's a great woman. She's from Holland, and she's a photographer. A lot of shit happened in my life. I've had a massive transformation. My father was killed by a drunk driver in 2009. That really fucked me up because my dad, he was like life of the party guy, always had a cocktail in the hand, Vietnam veteran. He flew helicopters in Vietnam. He was shot down. He was a tough, bad motherfucker. Everyone died in the helicopter except for him and his co-pilot, who he dragged across a field under heavy fire, and then they had to wait in the bushes for like 3 hours. After he died, I found the letter from the Army saying why he got like 5 medals for this.
Oh, he never told you?
No, he did, but he didn't like elaborate on the story. I knew that he had been shot down, like badass veterans don't like talk about stuff. But I was close with my dad. He told me, how he had saved a guy and unhooked him and dragged him across the field and shit. But I didn't realize how it's a Hollywood movie basically. Anyway, my dad loved comedy. He had comedy albums. Pryor was his favorite. That's why, my dad drove me to my first open mic night, all this shit. So I was like really fucked up when he died and angry at the drunk driver who killed him. And so my wife really like nursed me through this shit. And then I realized I'm never going to find a woman as amazing as her. And we planned to get married. And then my sister had stage 4 breast cancer for 4.5 years. And then a few days before we were going to get married, they said she's got 24 hours to live. And we got married at my sister's hospital bedside the day before she died of cancer. And like I was really close with my sister. Just the fact that my wife would do that. And because like, I don't know, a lot of women would be like, I ain't giving up my big day. I ain't getting married in a hospital, right? You know, but like I got married in a fucking hospital next to my sister before she died of cancer. And she clapped and said congratulations through her breathing mask. It was the last word she ever spoke. And like, and so like then that like really fucked me up. I was like really angry after that. So then I was angry at God because like I always, you know, believed in God and my family's really religious and shit. So I went through this massive, you know, it was a really difficult couple years. And then my wife really nursed me. We're traveling around the world. She helped me, you know, heal and laugh again and shit. So, I mean, my wife is incredible.
When you said you were mad at God, what did you feel like?
Well, I tell you, man, I went to, because my family are all Jesus freaks. And I never, you know, like, I think you should be a good person and don't be a cock. And that was Jesus's message. Don't be a cock. So I was never like a real, you know, church person, reading the Bible, all that. And I've been open to, you know, I was obsessed with Buddhism when I was younger. And I'm fascinated by religions and things like that. But I was, and I've always been, you know me for years. I've always been a really happy guy. After my sister died, I had so much anger. And it was really, we went to Ireland. I had gigs after my wedding, and there was this, there's a late night hamburger place in Ireland called Supermax, and they're all over Ireland. And you don't want to be in a Supermax after midnight because it's drunks looking for fights. And I was in Galway, my favorite place in Ireland. If you ever go to Ireland, Dublin's great, but Galway is just the shit. It's this mini San Francisco University seaport. If you were a musician or gay in Ireland, you would go to Galway. So there's a cool rock club there where everybody played, the Pogues and U2 and Sinead O'Connor, and that's where they do the comedy. And the guy that owns it's one of my oldest friends in comedy. So we're there, and like 1 o'clock in the morning, we wanted to get some food. And his brother was with him, so it's my wife, Kevin, his brother. We're in Supermax. There's these rugby drunk thugs in there fucking with Kevin and his brother. They're looking for a fight. And then we got out of there, but his brother was still in there. And these 4 guys all jump on him and start pounding him. And then Kevin runs in to help his brother. I'm not a fighter, but I'm not, you know. And then
You can't let somebody get
I'm not gonna,
beat up.
you know, I'm going to help my friend, you know.
Yeah.
If something happens, I'm always there for my friends, right? And then also, it's my honeymoon, man. You don't want to look like a coward on your honeymoon. That could fucking be a black mark on your wedding, on your marriage forever.
Gets into a fight on their fucking honeymoon.
I look at her and I look at my wife and I go, I'm going in, baby. It's Kevin, and she's like, yeah. And so I go in, and I haven't punched anybody in I don't know 20 years. And this guy, he was the shit stirrer who had started it. I run in, I punch the guy in the cheek, and apparently like that's the last place in the world you want to hit somebody because this is bone. I broke my finger and I had to go to the hospital the next day. But I mean, you know, the fight was pretty much done when I went in there. You know, I was like Dean Martin in an Old West movie saloon fight. You know, I looked good. Nobody hit me. Yeah, somebody goes by. So I'm totally Dean Martin in there. But we went after we did Galway. We go to Dublin, and I was talking to an Irish comedian friend of mine. And I told him the story about my sister dying and getting into the fight. And he said, you know what I think, Tom? I think you wanted to punch God in the face. And God wasn't available. And that's why you punched that guy. So, yeah, I wanted to punch.
Sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you get in more
I wanted to
fights,
punch
Joey?
God in the face. So, if you're that guy that I hit.
You're sorry.
I'm sorry. I was upset.
Oh, I hope you punched the Holy Spirit out of him. You know what I'm saying? It's really weird because I always describe that. I describe being mad at God. Do you know what I'm saying? Like just a couple times in my life when your central nervous breakdown. You know,
Yeah, when you're down.
When you're down.
Down.
You can't explain why God would do something like this.
Can't you see I'm wounded down here, you fuck? And then
So
you're going
you
to throw
do.
something else on top of me?
So you're the first person in a long time that I've heard say that. That's why I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
No, that when you got married, I had heard it through like the grapevine, and I was in shock, and I didn't know anything about the hospital. Now I'm in more fucking shock. But you're one of those dudes, you're a real comedian. When I got into comedy, It was to do what you do. But then I had the felonies. I can't travel abroad, so that killed that whole fucking dream. So I had to make what I got. You know what I'm saying? I go to like Catalina Island and make believe. But you've led that life. You know, somebody gave me a book for you. It's one of those books that you open up and it's a safe. Remember when we were kids, you would open up those books?
Oh, yeah.
And for me, he gave me, I forget the name, Body and Soul or something. But for me, he gave me Lenny Bruce, the one I always talk about.
How to Talk Dirty and Influence People?
No, the other one. The one that he lives in the Chelsea and he's doing heroin with the jazz musicians. And when I read that, that was the fucking book. What the hell, Lee? You put chocolate on the table and I got it all over me, cocksucker. When you had it over here. That's what happens when you put it on the table.
Marijuana chocolate?
Yeah. So reading that, that's what really, like I was getting. This was way before I got separated. This was when I was about 27, 20. I just got out of prison. I read that book when I was locked up. And I was like, this is an interesting life. This is a no responsibility life. Like if you want it, you could just live under the fucking radar. So when I got into comedy, it was to live under the radar, to just travel and whatever came.
No one to answer to.
Nobody.
No one to look out for you.
Nothing. When you're out there driving in some fucking town in, Missoula, Montana, you don't know what's going on.
Trying to outrun a hurricane, a tornado.
There's a point where you're sitting there a little confused, but then you're like, what am I confused about? There's no confusion here. I got no boss. I'm going to do 60 miles an hour. I'm going to drive till the tank goes empty, fill it up, get something to eat, and then finish driving and get to my gig. On those triple runs when you first start. They could be a little fucking irritating, those triple runs, you know?
I never did those.
Really?
I did. I went I stayed in Montana at Rich Hall's. He owns a ranch there.
Right.
He's like an old friend of mine. And my wife and I spent a month at his ranch like 5 years ago. And then for fun, I did those. I did like a few of those gigs because they were notoriously the worst gigs in America.
But tremendous for
the
a
toughest
comedian.
Gigs.
Tremendous for a comedian, and they build a lot of character, and they teach you how to live off $50 a day when you want to do coke and drink. It teaches
Montana coke. Wow.
Let me tell you something. I got some fucking coke in Montana one time. That was so good. I got good coke all Idaho. I went from Houston to somewhere, Oregon, or it was either Oregon or Idaho, and I got some fucking blow from a door chick that was so fucking hot, guys. This guy was thinking, or he was way ahead of the game. This had to be 2000. This guy was already ahead of the game. He had a hot chick at the door taking IDs. This bitch was so fucking hot. Big country woman, big natural titties, Wranglers on, boots, fucking banging. And after I did comedy, she came over to me. And she's like, you do blow? And she's like, the Mexicans in the back have some tremendous shit. Just, I'm like, wait till and I was headlining, so they gave me like $100. I was like, fuck yeah, what can I get for 60? And they gave me a half eighth. So she goes, she gives me the half eighth, and she goes, where are you staying, at the whatever hotel? And I go, yeah. And I went back with the comic. We did a couple lines. And then I said, fuck it, let me go back to my room. About an hour later, the angel knocked on my door. But she was a banger. This was real. This is life on the road. You meet a chick that's fucking gorgeous. You think that, this chick probably works at a dog shelter Monday through Friday. That's what she looked like. And she came over, and she's like, can I get high with you? I brought beers or something. I go, sure. I was awake anyway. I made it like I hadn't touched the coke. And all of a sudden, she took her works out in this little fucking town in Montana. She took works out and took some of the coke and melted it and shot herself.
No shit.
I had to go outside.
Is that what work is? Work is just needles?
Yeah, works is needles.
Work.
She showed
How
up,
old are you? You don't know the work?
She showed up with a little fucking pack.
I don't know what
This
works
bitch
are at
didn't
all.
You watch
packaging.
blaxploitation films in the 70s?
I never knew it was called works. Holy shit.
I had to go outside. Because I thought I was going to faint. I had to take the coke with me because I didn't trust the bitch either. Now, that opened up a complete different,
Is that popular to shoot
Needles.
coke?
Listen, I've seen maybe 2 people do it in my life. I was never really around needles,
Yeah, I never wanted anything to do
People
with needles.
who do needles attract other people who do needles. It's like when I first moved to Hollywood, The chicks next to us were heroin chicks. Two hot lesbian chicks that just ate each other and did heroin. And both of them had body odor to kill a fucking moose. And then I talked to her once by the pool. I go, what's that smell? And she goes, you're probably talking about us. I just made believe. Like, what's that smell? And they told me they wouldn't use soap with showers.
Why?
Because the soap would clean their pores. And they don't want their pores to be clean. You want your pores to be congested so the heroin doesn't sweat out. So it sits in your fucking body.
That's gross.
Man,
And every
that's
time you
dedication.
and every time you eat chocolate or something, it kicks it back open. So heroin people don't like sweating. They like to fill their pores up and shit with fucking concrete or whatever the fuck.
Wait, were they the ones that sold meat? How do they make a living?
These two broads, one of them was like a trust. This was the craziest building. Me, Josh Wolf, the girl next to us was beautiful. Beautiful. Had a kid. Every day I'd see her with a resume going to an acting audition. One night I put Showtime on there. She was sucking a dick on Showtime. My neighbor. The girl next to her, the two lesbians, didn't bathe. Then the girl next to her held the weed for the guy who lived on the fourth floor or the second floor, White Lightning. He was a Jewish guy that hung out with Jewish. He was a Jewish guy that hung out with black women and did a Jamaican night at some bar on fucking. I swear to God, you can't write this shit. So he would get 10 pounds sent in from Jamaica. So he was a pussy. So he would hide in the garage and he would give this chick half of it. She would steal half of it and sell it to us. We'd give her coke. She'd suck your dick, and then we'd steal like an eighth from her of weed. She had no chin. It was unbelievable. This chick had no fucking chin.
It's amazing how you find buildings like this. Is you asked me if I knew what a rig was? No, I have no idea.
The second floor
And
also
you find
lived
this? What
a
is
Mexican
going
kid
on?
who sold coke, and he didn't get home till 2. So once he came home, the party started. The girl on the first floor was a promoter at one of the bars, so she'd bring freaks home, and there was a pool in the backyard. I never got laid back then. I could tell you 1,000 stories. They were all young girls. I was 32. I lived upstairs with Josh Wolf, but that's how crazy that fucking building was. The chick with the chin sucked my dick a few times without the chin. I forget what her name was. She was from Connecticut. She had no chin. She was like all fucked up. But she had gigantic titties, and that's all that matters, I guess, at that time. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing powder and craziness. That's crazy.
It just magnetizes people. Like coke just brings people. Like I've never had
like
anyone
heroin
knock on my
people
hotel room door.
Attract heroin people. You know, how many times you bump into somebody that says you want a line of heroin? Never. Because they know.
Only Hedberg.
Really? Everybody has
Yeah, and
different
I never got into hard drugs. I stopped doing hard drugs a couple years ago. I stopped drinking alcohol.
Did you
2 years ago. You see the scar on my forehead?
Yeah.
It's getting smaller.
What was that scar from?
I blacked out in Philadelphia.
At Helium?
I was performing at Helium.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I was there New Year's Eve 2 years ago. And 3 sold-out shows New Year's Eve. And then the way the weekend was, I had January 1st, the Thursday off, and they wanted me to stay for the Friday, Saturday. So never am I in a city with a night off. And my wife was in Holland visiting her mother. So, like, if she was with me, I think I would have fallen into her. So, do you want the long version or the short version?
Short version.
So, I had...
Just move up a little bit. Don't move the thing up. Keep talking.
I had 10 pints of Sierra Nevada. Very normal evening. I was in some little working man's bar on Sansom Street. And I just blacked out and fell like a tree off this bar stool.
Just booze?
Just booze, yeah. And then my head hit the tile floor, and some guys. Once my head hit the floor, I was wide awake, and then I feel this dude grab me by the arm, and he screams out to the bar, "We gotta call an ambulance!"
Oh fuck!
And I turn to him and I go, "Fuck that! I don't have health insurance. Don't you dare call an ambulance." And he looks at me and he goes, "You got to get to a hospital." And I said, "How far is the nearest hospital?" And he goes, 2 blocks. I go, 2 blocks, and you were going to call an ambulance? It's like $15,000.
Yeah.
You
Fucking
kidding
dummy.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
once you sign
I mean,
it, they
that's
got
life in America, you know. So I grabbed a wad of napkins and I walked like John Wayne to the emergency room, sat there, and then the next day I had these Frankenstein stitches on my forehead and a black eye. And the last couple of years I was I've always been a heavy drinker, always been a big partier, it's part of my identity. I just felt sluggish, like an athlete, you lose step. after you get a little older. And I was starting to get that fat, boozy, alcoholic face that my dad had, and like the booze nose and shit. And I look in the mirror the next day, and I got these Frankenstein stitches and a black eye. And I was like, I'm gonna go 1 year, seeing what it's like not being drunk every night of my life. Because in a comedy we get paid in one of the only perk is free drinks. So like I always drank like a fish everywhere. It was part of the the benefits. So I went 1 year and I got so much shit done, and I didn't have this low magnitude depression all the time, and then being hungover all the next day and feeling like shit and all these things I wanted to do. It's like you feel bad about yourself because you're not achieving everything you want to be doing. So I felt so great after a year and got so much shit done. I was like, fuck, I'm going to stick with this. And it's been 2 years, and now I just gave up the cigarettes.
How do you feel after 2 years?
I feel incredible.
What is your nightlife now? Do you just go to a hotel, drink coffee? Now you gave up the fucking cigarettes, so that goes... why drink the coffee if you ain't got the fucking cigarettes?
No, I love coffee, and I love cigarettes. I still love cigarettes, and I still love booze. I love drinking. I just like, I love wine. I know a lot about wine. I envision myself maybe in my 60s, maybe having a glass of wine. But I think a nice 10-year stretch at least, seeing how much shit I can get done. I mean, I love comedy. I love making jokes. And, I've been working on a book for a few years. There's like a lot of shit I want to be doing. And now, look at all these comedians banging out new hour specials every year. It's been a couple years since my last special. I'm really working my ass off to get my next hour. I'm motivated and I'm happy. Like I said, the main thing is I don't have that low magnitude depression all the time, which just happens when you're fucking boozing all the time.
What do you mean by that? Low magnitude depression?
Do you drink all the time?
I don't know.
There's just certain underlying funk that you feel all the time, and you think, I'm hungover and it'll wear off, whatever. But then, the evening comes, and I never drank before shows. It was always after, I loved comedy too much. I mean, sure, some second show Fridays, I was hammered, but for the most part, my rule of thumb was never, drink before you go on stage. Anyway, there's just a...
Did you feel this way, when you were starting comedy and drinking?
No, now I feel like when I was young, I feel like comedy's the drug. Getting on stage for me is the drug. And thinking up jokes again. It's great because at one point, it's like, my dad was the life of the party. I'm the life of the party. I always intertwined comedy with being the life of the party. You're the party leader. And like Pryor also, one of my favorites, just the mythology of people who party. All my heroes died fat, naked, and bloated on the bathroom tile. You know what I'm saying? Jim Morrison, Lenny Bruce, So, I wanted to be that, wild man. But, you get a little older and you realize people you love start dropping dead. And you realize, man, there's a fucking hourglass to life. You only get so much. When you're young and having fun, it just seems like this endless thread that's never going to end.
Sarah Tiana was here a couple nights ago, and she said that she feels sometimes that it ages you, the road. I mean, I was 50 when I was born. You know what I'm saying? I looked 80 when I was born. It was fun, man.
I always had a great time, and I was born on the road as a comedian, so I never had the hang-ups about the road. And I always it's a necessary component to the whole program. I always felt, but then again, I went and did way too much and playing all over I haven't lived anywhere in 10 years. I had everything in storage, so I would spend 6 months of the year outside of the United States. Last year I did 5 months in Europe, month in Asia, and then 6 months all over the States. The year before that, I did a month in Australia, a month in New Zealand, and just, relentlessly, but...
No, you're the last real deal, but I'm talking about even from the beginning. I mean, when you first walk into your first open mic, You're nervous, you get up, boom. Then you go to your second, your third. Then by the fourth, people are like, hey, let's have a drink. And all of a sudden you become a social comic. You run with other comics. Then you find your clique, and they're all a bunch of drinkers and druggers. They like to get high. And now all of you go out together 4 nights a week to do comedy, which always means cocktails. There's not one night you're going to go out when you're in the beginning and not drink.
Drinking all night and hanging out with comedians is my favorite thing on the planet.
And some people have to go to work, but they don't give a fuck. They stay out till 3 and do it again the next night.
And are you getting like hammer drunk? It's not like 1 or 2
Some
drinks.
nights you get really ripped, and some nights you get the party started, but you eat something. You go eat with a bunch of comedians, and you simmer down a little bit, Some nights you go fucking for 2 days.
I dedicated my life to that.
Yeah, some nights you go for 2 days, and you don't know. You don't know till you get out there. You don't know what's going to happen. You might go to a bar, and most bars will tell you on the thing, well, you get 2 free drinks as a feature act. And you get there, and the chick's from Connecticut. And now you got something to talk about. Next thing you know, she's giving you free fucking drinks,
I started out in Orlando, and then I started out on the southern circuits. After I, got in with Florida, then when I went on the road, I played every town that ends in ville or borough in the southern United States. I played fucking everywhere. The late 80s, the Comedy Zone out of Charlotte, they had a Comedy Zone in every Holiday Inn lounge.
Creative
all over the southern United States.
Creative
So I started out doing those gigs.
Every Holiday Inn?
Oh my God. From Prestonburg, fucking West Virginia, to fucking Clarkville, Tennessee.
How did they book all those shows?
Ones that like in like Florence, South Carolina. Jackson, Mississippi.
Jacksonville. They had the Mandarin
one in Jacksonville.
They had all those clubs. And then Tribble, on the other hand, has Red Lion Inns. So all the Red Lion Inns on the Northwest, Tribble books pretty much. Some of them are Mormon. You can't curse on stage. But some of them, they don't give a fuck. Some of them, the Mormons don't even give a fuck. They're out trying to get a piece of pussy, too. It's Wednesday night. Happy hour works for them, too.
So I started out, doing and then there was gigs in the Midwest. And then, I just was into this adventure. And I started when I was 17. So I went on the road when I was 18 after I graduated high school. And I had a good enough car. My dad helped me get from this woman that he was fucking. And I went everywhere, and I would be gone for months, and then go up to Chicago and do guest sets and hit. I wanted to be a comedian, and then I would work blocks, Kansas City, wherever, and Milwaukee, and all over, Lexington, and then I would systematically try and go do showcase sets at other places. So people talk about how bad the road was. For me, the road was Homer's Odyssey, I went on the road, and I would go away for months at a time. My family never knew when I would be back.
I'm really jealous of that lifestyle. Like it seems like it would be, and I can see that it probably is wearing, and you miss certain things, but it seems like it would be so cool.
You don't miss a fucking thing. You'd be in Detroit.
Right.
Like, I'd be in Detroit working at Joey's Comedy Club.
Okay.
And I'd have 2 shows, and I'd be the feature act. So the show starts at 7:30. Guy does 15, 7:40. I'm off at 8:15. I would schedule a showcase, and all jokes aside, in downtown Detroit at 8:45. And I'd go right from the stage into the car, shoot down there, run in, do a showcase, go back, do the 10:30 show. I was a gavone. You have to
You got to hustle, man.
You got to hustle. That's the only way. You got to call the clubs and go, hey, Syatt, Joey Diaz. Listen, I'd like to do a guest set. Who recommended you? Tom Rhodes. Can I ask you a question, Mr. Syatt? Yeah. Listen, I just want to know the person who books is going to be there to make a decision. Because once I fucking I destroy that fucking room. I don't want to leave there without a booking. And they would just sit on the other end of the line. That's part of it. That's I got no choice. I got no choice. I'm a salesman. And they would giggle sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes they go, okay, come down at 8:30, wise ass. And they'd hang up on me. I'd drop a name.
Especially back then, to play the game, you had to cover the land. And you had to go showcase at these places and get passed. So you had little room for error. You had to constantly kill,
Constantly. And write
on the showcases.
And it's like somebody... we went somewhere about 2 years ago, me, Brian, and somebody else, and we did a show. And we went to the town. The lady's like, okay, what do you want to do? And we're like, we're going to a hotel room. we got to go freshen up before the show. She's like, I thought we were going to save money. I was going to give it back to the comics. We could just hang out in the restaurant till 8:30. And I'm like, are you crazy? We did that. We go to a town, get there at 2 in the afternoon. You got $3 in your pocket. You go to Wendy's, get a $1 burger and some fries and a soda, and sit there and smoke cigarettes and wait 6 hours until the club opened. And you're starving. Now you got to go in, and you know what? It's amazing. Like, here you have $44 for the Holiday Inn, and the club owner's like, you got a place to stay? No, really? Yeah, you could stay at the condo tonight, just leave in the morning. You're like, there you go. I just saved $50. Your life is an adventure. It's an adventure. You don't. There's some days it don't work like that. Some days you got to call Western Union and say, Lee Syatt, put $50, send it to fucking Jacksonville, Florida, to this Western Union. What are you talking about? I need $50 fucking dollars. I gotta get the fucking game.
Do you want me to come home for Christmas?
Yeah.
Can you wire me $50?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Your life is just, and you bump into people who will help you out. You go to a town, you do a show, a comic will say, what are you going to do? Nothing, I'm going to drive. What are you going to drive for? I got a basement. I got cable TV. Nobody's home all day. Stay there, watch TV. I got a computer. You're like, Jesus, I just saved $100. I just saved $150 fucking dollars. This guy opened his home to me. And that's what happens. Every day is different.
You never got nervous about accepting those offers of staying at someone's house?
Comics were cool, man.
Okay, so from
you
comics,
work with them 4 days. Like, you just finished. Like, I was in Myrtle Beach one time. And I worked the weekend. I was going to take a bus. And this kid goes, what are you going to take a bus for? I'm driving back to South Carolina. Where you're going is 8 hours away. I go, so what am I going to do in Charleston? He goes, stay with me. I stayed with him for 4 fucking days. The kid was a gentleman. He gave me pizza. He worked at a pizza place. He brought up pizza. It was fucking tremendous. You never know. You never know until you get out there. There's a girl that's around here. There's a girl that I forget what her name is. I just saw her Comedy Central special. 20 years ago, we were in Baltimore doing a Roger Paul fucking thievery gig. You know, 400. When you get there, it's 250, and there's no hotel. And her and her boyfriend were like, stay at our place. It's right around the corner. You have no idea. They gave me a check. So I already had a round trip bus ticket. I couldn't cash a check at fucking midnight on a Saturday night. So I was stuck. They were like, stay at our house. The next morning, I took the fucking bus back to New York. I still remember all these things because they're miracles. But they wouldn't have happened unless I made the effort. Do you understand me? Like, I can't plan that shit. You can't plan that. I don't know Lee's going to tell me to stay on his couch. But unless I get in that fucking car and make the drive, you'll never know. You'll never fucking know. And that's what stops people. They go, I don't want to go out there. What if? What if nothing? Get in the fucking car and drive. What if you run out of money? Who gives a fuck? It'll work out. It'll work out. Just go out there. I just watched a very interesting movie that I had never, ever seen before. And it blew my mind. I had to fucking come home and watch it again last night till fucking midnight.
Really?
Wild. Reese Witherspoon. When she backpacks across and she's a hooker, she's a fucking...
Oh, my wife saw that. My wife loved the book, loved the movie. I never saw it.
Fucking tremendous. Fucking tremendous. She got nominated. Unbelievable. She gets fucked in that movie 800 times. There's one scene in a restaurant, both guys fuck her. She's a waitress. One guy fucks her from behind, but she's backpacking and she's thinking of all these thoughts and all these different situations. And there's a couple times when she gets in the car with a guy and he goes, you know what, I can't wait to take you home. I got a surprise for you. And then she's like, I got to meet my husband. And also the guy takes her home and he's got a wife. And she takes a shower and they feed her. And she hasn't eaten in days. And then the next day the guy gives her a ride. That shit wouldn't happen. You wouldn't just find that. You wouldn't know the world has that to offer unless you went for it. That's the beauty of you traveling. Tom Rhodes could tell all of us right now tomorrow in the United States to suck our dick. He's got a complete different family over in Europe. He could be the real Bulger. You know the fucking guy that Johnny Depp played? They would never find him. This motherfucker, they would never find him. They would never find him. They'd be crazy to look for him because he knows. He's created that over the years. He's created that. It took 7, 8, 9 years to create this complete different family. In Singapore, he could go to any town and walk in and go, "Tang bang, bing, tang bang," and fucking Chinese people are jumping, throwing darts, serving him a cat. You know how it is. That's the beauty of that you don't know that until you go out there and meet these people. You don't find the beauty of people. That's the shit they don't tell you in school. That's the shit that some authors give you in their writing. Some authors give you hope. You know what? I'm going to go on the road and I'm going to meet interesting people.
Well, yeah, I read Kerouac when I was in high
you
school.
go.
And
there
that,
you go.
Jack Kerouac
right.
on
Jack
the road
Kerouac
is
will set
why
you on the
I
road.
moved
Absolutely.
to San Francisco in 1990. I was like 22, and that book changed my life. And that's why I never was afraid of the road.
Yeah, you're never afraid. Even... going to
knew
California by
there's a
Led
quote
Zeppelin.
in that book. He says, "I knew somewhere along the way that the pearl would be handed to me. Everything I needed to know, everything I wanted to experience."
It's I was always very scared about traveling abroad, even when I had the passport. When I had the passport, I didn't take advantage of it. I was always very scared. I wanted to travel the United States first. I pretty much done comedy everywhere, all these fucking states, except maybe Puerto Rico. That's it. Alaska, I was up there in Choco Charlie's,
I've done that gig.
Yeah,
That's
everybody's
great.
done that.
Love that
gig.
place, especially if you're drinking. It's great.
Oh, and you're snorting, and you wake up the next morning, you get a piece of halibut. Are you fucking kidding me? You could snort 80 pounds of blow and eat a piece of halibut, you're back. It don't matter what you snort. It takes the electromagnesium out of your body. You know what I'm saying? The road is very interesting, and when people say it, the road, it's this big, in your mind, if you close your eyes, it's the road. You just look at a windshield and see this open road, and you're fucking driving it. But it's got so many different things, so many lessons that I've learned, but mostly about people. And the lesson I learned the most of, it gave me hope in mankind. It gave me hope in humanity, because there's some fucking dynamite people out there. Dynamite. I wish I could name all the fucking cool people. From day one, when I went to Aspen that time, I met a white dude who used to be like Tom Rhodes. He was a brick mason in the summers, and in the winters he would go to New Zealand. And he had a complete different life down there. And he would tell me about his life down there, and it was like being
New
a
Zealand's
kid.
magical too.
Yeah,
It's
and
beautiful.
being a kid and somebody telling you these stories about a faraway land. I was enamored with the guy. I couldn't believe it. And I would say, and we exchanged numbers. I used to, oh my God, I forget the guy's name I did masonry for. Chip Chilson. He was a professional fucking skier. And he hired me to be a hottie carrier. And he hired me 3 fucking summers, that dude. 2 summers he hired me. He was a good dude, but he worked your ass off in the summer. In the winter, he skied all summer. He was a professional skier. But he was one of his brick masons. And that always intrigued me, and even then, I was not even close to being comic in 1983. It wasn't even a dream. But just that thought always was like, wow, I'd like to get on a bus and just go to California and hitchhike back. Remember there was a show, The Hitchhiker, on HBO?
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
There was a show like The Hitchhiker?
Yeah.
That also intrigued me. He would always get his dick sucked and have threesomes and shit. That would never happen to me, but it's a fantasy that the hitchhiker. Like you had balls of steel. When did you decide you were leaving?
For LA, it was. I don't remember making a decision. I went to college to be an editor, and
Where?
I knew Emerson College in Boston.
In Boston, yeah.
Yeah. I just knew from the beginning that I was coming out here. I kind of wanted to be in New York a little bit, but I had a job out here, so. But I did have I've told this story, but I had a panic attack in Connecticut because I realized that I had everything in my entire life in my car, so I had to pull over for a second. And when I came here, see, I've always turned people down. I feel bad when people when I first came out here, an editor offered to let me stay on his couch while I found a place. I was like, no, and I paid for a hotel. I don't want to intrude on anybody. And I can't tell you from this podcast how many offers I've gotten for anywhere, and I always feel bad, and I always feel like I don't know, but I should start accepting it more.
I stayed on so many couches that I can't anymore. I refused to.
Yeah, I did too.
I stayed on so many fucking couches. I got so many free nights of rent. So many. So fucking many, People who said stay here. I mean, it was just unfucking believable. So now, even when I go home, people take my apartment, whatever, and I'm like, I'm fucking embarrassed. I don't want to live in your house. on vacation.
That's how I feel,
I want
yeah.
to scratch my balls, and I like to come home from the comedy gig and drink coffee and stay up for a while and listen to music and write notes. And, it's awkward. It's fucking awkward. I couldn't imagine going to somebody's house and tiptoeing through the house at 2 a.m. when I'm coming back from doing comedy. I'm a fucking grown man, And I did it till I was about 40. And then I just had to stop. I just stopped. It started. Would you?
I did it a lot in the last 10 years, and my wife and I, Rich Hall owns a ranch in Montana, and we went and stayed there for a month. There's a comedian invited us to stay at his place in London, and he was a neurotic, strange dude. So it was we would throw away he had the garbage and recycling. And, so anything plastic had to go in the recycling. So we're getting food from the grocery store, and we put the plastic in the thing. But he would put the plastic stuff in the dishwasher and wash it before he put it in he had all these strange habits. So sometimes you stay with somebody and it's they're weird and they're irritating. And then yeah, like you said, you got to, you tiptoe around eggshells, even if you got your own separate room and stuff.
Yeah, I want my own respiratory fucking place. I want to sleep by myself. I don't want nobody in the fucking room watching me,
I like to walk with my dick out.
No, like people with, I slept in people's houses and all of a sudden you wake up with coke around your nose with a sleep apnea machine and their 4-year-olds poking you with a stick. Or fucking running a Hot Wheel through your fucking stomach because your stomach's hanging out of your shirt. Or, you have no fucking idea. My friend's dog pissed on me when I was sleeping one time because my hand was hanging off the edge and he would piss on the edge of the fucking couch. And I got pissed on my face and on my arm by a fucking pug. That's why I don't like fucking pugs. I hate those fucking dogs. So that's why it just got old, man. I lived with people up to 1993. I lived with George in New York, and I said, fuck this. I went back to Boulder, and I got an apartment. I stayed there by myself till 95. Then after 95, bam, I've been on my own pretty fucking much.
I love living alone. It's great. I've thought about living with people, and it's terrible. It's so much better living alone.
They touch an Nintendo games.
Having a place to live is a new concept for me. I mean, we just got an apartment here 6 months ago. From not living anywhere, and every week going to a different city, to different, hotels mostly. And then when we had time off, we would take an epic vacation, my wife and I. We went to Rome the last 4 years and stuff. 2 years ago, we went to Bali. When I was still drinking, we would go to New Orleans a lot. So depending where I was in the planet. So, my wife and I, just the fact we have an apartment now, we're to have a sock drawer and an underwear drawer and the simplest things, make us happy. We open the refrigerator, man, and I'm like, these are our condiments. I own that mustard. It's it's really new. And like I said, I have this massive book collection and my vinyl records. I'm just playing my vinyl records to start the day every day. It's awesome to have stuff.
And you don't have the TV, which is interesting.
I have a TV, but I just Netflix on it. I don't
watch regular TV
don't watch regular
or the news and none of that
no,
shit.
just Netflix.
Fuck those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
If I had no responsibilities, I've been thinking about it, I think it would be really cool to just be an Uber driver and just drive across the country.
I've had some incredible conversations with Uber drivers in Los Angeles.
Some of them are cool. Some of them are kind of so I've had some weird ones, but I think it would just every city. I've never been to New Orleans once. I would love to check out all those places, and I think
New Orleans is good, especially if you're partying, man. It never closes, and
one of the cities that scared
New
me.
Orleans, and you and I met in Houston. And like I said, I stopped doing hard drugs a couple years ago and stopped drinking. But I do have to give a commercial to Houston and New Orleans as the purest cocaine of anywhere in America. I mean, the dealers really have an appreciation for the original product. And, that should be advertised on their, tourist propaganda, that they don't step on their shit.
My town... Give me a pen over there. Give me a pen over there. Let me see. My towns for cocaine, in this order. Where El Paso.
Totally.
Oh my
El
fucking
Paso,
God.
Houston, and New Orleans. I think those
Houston.
are my top three.
New Orleans, and then Miami.
El Paso, really
And
good
there was
stuff.
one other place in there. What's the one that's 10 hours from Houston? By Midland, Texas, which is around the corner from El Paso, a few hours.
I did a gig there once.
That's where I showed up, and the fucking MC gave me an 8-ball. He gave me an 8-ball and the feature an 8-ball, and he had an 8-ball. And at the end of the show, he had done his 8-ball already. It was fucking crazy. It was fucking crazy. But El Paso, that was. I'm lucky I didn't die in El Paso.
Was it like the quality or the
quality.
quantity?
So good.
Quantity, how much of it.
Oh, yeah.
Who did it? Who had it? It was always available. It was always. One night, listen to me, a guy and I did something, and this guy just happened to see it. Like it could have been a commercial or like a co-star on a TV show. This had to be 2001, 2000, because it was the old comic strip. The old comic strip. Because they were here, and then they moved across the street, and he bought the building. And that's where it ended. Once he bought the building, he was here for 20 years and made a fucking small gold mine. Then he he fired the gay manager. He did all these moves that were stupid. Here, it was a gold mine. It was Tuesday through Saturday. My God, it was just fucking craziness. And the cocaine was La Pierre de la Resistance. The first time I went was 4th of July, 90-fucking-7. I came back to shoot that. First time I went to El Paso was July of 97, and I came back to shoot a fucking Taco Bell commercial with the dog. Remember those first commercials with the dog? I shot the first 3. But I came back, and I brought back a Coke rocker on the bus. And I got on the bus, I sat down, I did 2 fucking bumps, and within an hour, they pulled the bus over, and the dogs are getting on. I crushed the rock up. I snort the whole thing. By the time they got to me, I had my T-shirt off. I was sweating profusely. I had a bead running down my armpit. Fucking classic shit. That's the first. So once I had that experience, I'm like, I'm going back there. And it took me like 2 years to go back there. But when I got back there, it was lights out. That was another place at the original condo. All night long, people be knocking. You want to buy any Coke? You're like, yeah, come on in. I was just thinking about making a call, but I didn't really, that was another.
I always liked El Paso. I had one of the greatest moments in my career in El Paso.
At the comic strip.
At the comic strip. It was about 5 years ago. This massive snowstorm. It never snows in El Paso.
Never snows in El Paso.
I was there in February. This massive snowstorm hits El Paso. And, I mean, it was fucking and they were having rolling blackouts like the night before the show had been canceled because the electricity had blacked out in the whole city on and off. So I loved El Paso. I love El Paso because it's all 80% Mexican people is the audience, and then there's an army base there, Fort Bliss. So you got about 20% of the audience is like army people and stuff. So the great audiences. And I was on stage for about a half hour, and I was killing because any comedian that tells a story about himself is killing in the story. I'm doing a great set. The lights go out. The city blacked out while I was on stage, and the people in the audience held up their cell phones, and I did another half hour in the glow of cell phone light with no electricity. It was really cool. They were like, no, man, keep going, fuck it.
You sure it was their phone, not their noses glowing from the cocaine?
Well, I guess they were coked. They were like, they're ready. They didn't want to end the good time, right? They weren't cold.
I could lie to you and tell you a bunch of stories, and I could tell you that I cut my comedy teeth in Texas. If it wasn't for the state of Texas, I wouldn't even have become a comic.
Texas has always been
because
good
they
for
gave
me
me the freedom to say what the fuck I wanted. They had tons of work. No matter what city in that fucking beautiful state, you've always got work.
I love Texas too. Throughout my career, it's
always. I can't lie to anybody.
And
you know what? I don't work the comic strip no more just because I just don't. It's just Bart's a great guy. He does what he does. But I can't lie to you either. I used to work that club as a feature 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah,
I'd bust it down there. Bust it right now, Monday night. 11 o'clock bus, get you in there at 1 in the afternoon. I'd stay up all night on the bus talking shit by myself with an iPod, writing stupid fucking jokes. I'd bring sandwiches, and I'd fucking ride the bus. Get there at 1, go to the condo, take a nap, take a shower, do the show on fucking Tuesday night. And that's when it starts. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2 Friday, and 2 Saturday. It was a long week, Jack, 7 shows. And 6 of those nights, you snorted up a fucking blizzard. You saw daylight every night. Do you understand me? You saw daylight every night in El Paso if you wanted.
That means you stayed up until morning?
Daylight, 7 a.m. Fucking go to bed. I don't give a fuck who I worked that fucking room with. They knew this room, this fucking condo is going to be rocking till daylight. I swear to God, that was so crazy down there. And, you know, it's a shame. And down the block, they had a supermarket. And on Friday mornings, they used to make Yucatan fish soup with every piece of fucking fish available. And you'd see like eyeballs and heads and shark fins and shit. Let me tell you something. No matter how much coke you snorted the night before or how bad that pussy was that you ate, the next morning all you had to have was that Yucatan fish soup, and you were back in business. That brought you back for Friday. You went back, took a nap till about 6:30, went down to the comic strip, had their cheeseburger, and went on stage and did 2 shows and got another package. It was and then they had a chick that delivered blow to you, and she had a boyfriend, and from time to time you could talk her into licking your nuts because she was so coked up out of her head. This was craziness. Then you had Dallas. I got coked up a few times. The other place was crazy. Midland, that was run by a magician. That was horrible. And he was married, so he was on the
Rob
run.
Jenkins. I know
Rob
that guy.
Jenkins and
I
shit.
did that gig. He brought me in there for New Year's Eve once. We're like, I forget, it was like $4,000 or something.
It was crazy, this place.
It was a place next door that did norteño dancing.
It was
It's
it
this
all
dance.
Mexicans.
It-
It was
it's
a
all,
Mexican
and like
block that owned it.
norteño is this dance and this music that's only in the north of Mexico. So, you know, really cowboy Mexican people. There was a really grimy strip club in that town. Did you go there?
No.
It was like total nudity.
No.
And like, you know, they worked for tips or something
You could hear
only.
the kids crying in the back and shit. They had dead kids stabbing themselves and shit. The little fucking affluenza white kids there jumping up and down. Fuck you. Those strip clubs are hard. You get shot in those fucking strip clubs. They don't even have floors. It's dirt. It's like the inside of a fucking barn. This is crazy because they had one in fact, Babbitt took me to the one that was a barn down where Selena's from. Down there in Corpus fucking Christi.
You're not serious. It's in a barn with like animals?
There was no animals. The animals had been killed. They had been transferred to a different farm, and they had a strip club and a barn. They had 4 chicks dancing. They had like a roulette table. This had to be me, Freddie Soto, and somebody else.
Oh, I loved Freddie Soto.
So this had to be, God bless his soul, this had to be 1999. Me, Freddie, and in those days I used to pull a scam. Because they wanted like a ton of money to fly into Houston direct. But if you flew into Houston via San Antonio or something, you get off the plane in San Antonio. Fucking tremendous. For like $99. I get off the plane in San Antonio and shit and take the bus down from San Antonio to Corpus Christi like a Puerto Rican. You know me, dog.
How much money would you save doing that? I can't imagine you doing that now.
And then I'd go back to Corpus and they'd fight with me. They'd say, no, this isn't your destination. I'd make up a story. And now you can't do that.
What do you mean you make up a destination?
Because you have to you can't fly out of the connecting city. So let's say I have a ticket from Dallas to Phoenix to L.A. and I show up in Phoenix an hour before the flight. They're not going to let me on. Today, there's not.
This dude got in trouble. This dude.
Yeah, they don't fuck around
no
more.
They lost. The airlines, I'm pretty sure, lost the suit.
Really?
He made it. I can check, but he made a website where you do that. You save money by just getting off or getting on at like a weird connecting flight. But I'm pretty sure he beat the airlines, at least United.
What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Fly United. Where's Tony Bennett, cocksucker? It's Monday night, cocksuckers. February 1st. Get your ducks in order. It's a new fucking month.
I wanna be around to pick up the pieces.
Every time I come in here, my fucking days change.
Somebody breaks your heart.
No kettlebell class no more.
No.
No movies with my wife. It's amazing. somebody who.
It should be true. Are you recording or is this a break?
We're recording.
Because I told you my vinyl records. I'm playing tons of Ella Fitzgerald records, Sinatra, Tony Bennett. It's fucking great. It's all I'm listening to now. Love Tony Bennett.
Lee, I want you to know something. I've always been a hard-headed guy. So, I was, I came from Cuba. You had the fucking 45s, okay? And it had a thing in the middle, and you played 45s. Okay. Everybody was fucking happy. Everybody was fucking happy, Lee. Everybody was fucking happy. Albums were great. People were smoking dope. People were having a good time. You had two other things, excuse me. You had 8-tracks, and you had cassettes. But vinyl was the way to fucking go. And all of a sudden, some genius said, no, let's go reel to reel. So all of a sudden, all these fucking Joe Jerkoffs started going reel to reel. Did you get your reel to reel yet? No. I knew at fucking 18, in 1982, I kept saying to myself, this is a scam.
Did people really have reel-to-reels in their house?
Reel to reel in their house. My friend still has it in his basement.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He's the only one that fell for it.
He fell. Him and 3 other idiots all got reel to reel. When we hear Judas Priest, we could hear Rob Halford's voice pull away. They all had 1,000 fucking stories.
Remember when CDs came out? It was like being in, it's like being in the room
It's
with
like
them.
being in the room with them.
That's the way they marketed it.
It's always some bullshit story and people fell for it. And I kept saying to myself, this is great. This is just great. Why they gotta fuck with something? I always felt that. And then there was something else that happened. Music in general. And every year, you had the fucking, I remember still having the Walkman with the power booster. I went to a store in New York. It was like all they do was sell appliances. And I went there, and they actually had the fucking power booster. So I had a power booster connected to a fucking equalizer, so it could be loud as fuck. Connected to like state-of-the-art fucking speakers, Then everything changed. We got to put the thing in it. And then they came out with the fucking iPod. So me and my Walkman have to go fuck themselves, right?
Yeah.
All over again.
You know what I have in my storage? I
bet you do.
Because I saved them. I got a cassette Walkman, and I got 2 CD Discmen.
Jesus.
And when the iPod came out, everyone got rid of their music collection. Remember, everybody had thousands of CDs. I still got mine because I had it in storage, But this is the new thing. So like everybody got the iPods, got rid of their music collections. They don't even fucking sell. I got 2 iPods. They don't sell those anymore. And one of my iPods is broke. You can't take it to an Apple store and get it fixed. So now everybody downloads music and shit. But what happened? Even the iPod is outdated.
Like that thing right there, that speaker, that's a fucking iPod charger. Yeah, that's an iPod charger. Ralphie May gave me that for Christmas 10 fucking years ago to charge your iPod. The only reason why it's down here is because on my last trip to Vegas, I lost my fucking iPod. All right? I just lost it. I just filled it up with songs. I put the Sabbath collection, UFO. I had some Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
I put 2 Sinatra albums.
That's mine with music. Is the screen is broke. Where can you get a screen fixed on an iPod?
On Lancashire Boulevard.
Really?
Yeah, they have.
Because it's got my entire music
$100.
collection is on this one fat iPod.
It's about $100.
Oh man!
But they'll put the screen on in a few hours right here. Listen, those Armenians, they'll do anything.
Really?
On fucking North Hollywood, right next to the old Haha, they fix iPod and screens. And if not, next to what's the Puerto Rican place on Lancashire? Up there, they got a fucking place right next door to it. They'll fix it while you wait.
Cool.
That's how much they got it to a science, that whole fucking screen on the thing. But, so fucking Thursday, I'm leaving for Charlotte. I gotta wake up at 3 in the goddamn morning. I gotta leave the house at 4. Get at the airport at 5. I get in the car at 4. I make a protein shake with a fucking banana. I take my whatever fucking pill. Then I take my blood pressure medication and I smoke some dope. And this is my first road gig in months. in a month and a half. Since December 14th. I haven't driven to LAX this the first week of December.
Why, did you take a break?
Yeah, I always take a break. Fuck that. There's no reason for me to travel because I'm dirty. So in December, it's kind of weird for me. So I try to just do local gigs. I don't want to get caught in the fucking snow. I don't want to be one of those assholes that people watch on TV and say, look at those assholes stuck in an airport. Don't you know you don't fly? I never want to be one of those guys. I fucking hate it. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate people who do it. I'm going home for the holidays. Good luck.
Yeah.
Somewhere you're going to get fucked in the ass, you know? And what were we talking about? I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm so high right now. What are we talking about?
iPods,
Okay.
music.
So
yeah. You got in the car.
I get in the fucking car. I puke. I get car sick. I miss the exit. I'm basically driving on the 405.
Oh, this is when you went to Charlotte.
Just last Thursday.
Oh.
Right. So I'm driving on the 405, and I have all the windows open. I have the air conditioner blasting. I got the music off, and I got the seat like this, and I'm driving like this with my eyes closed, guys. And all of a sudden I open up, and I see Century Boulevard. Like I had slept through the fucking exit. I was so fucking dizzy. I got off on the 105 somewhere, and I made a right on the Cienega. And by the grace of God, I got back onto Century within 10 minutes. At that left onto Century, I could feel the rumblings. I started farting. Those really bad anxiety farts that come out of your ass. I'm driving down Century. I'm doing 90, and I'm crisscrossing like I got a DUI. I'm surprised we're still having this fucking conversation. I just didn't get out of jail. I get into the airport. There's no traffic. I get to Terminal 4. It's American Airlines. And as I get the ticket, it just exorcists out of my mouth onto that thing. I got to pull over, finish up the puke. It's on my fucking shirt.
Oh, wow.
There's a banana in the car from the fucking blender that it didn't blend all the way. I got to take my shirt off, throw it in the fucking garbage, and take a shirt out of the luggage and put that on. That's how I flew. I walked to the fucking airport. I'm barely walking in there. I'm purple. I swear to God, guys, I should have canceled. No, I didn't. I went through security. It was quick. For the first time ever, it wasn't gate 44D, which is always at the end. It was gate 60, the first one over, and I sat there, and I look up, and I'm breathing. I'm taking my hooded sweatshirt off. I'm just breathing. I'm getting dizzy, and I look over, and I see fucking sandwiches and water. And I walk over there. I don't even know how I did it. And I bought the water and drank it and sat down. That brought me back a little bit, and then I went and got a turkey sandwich with avocado and arugula, and that took me down a level, and I boarded the fucking plane, and I was fine.
Was it the protein shake?
I don't know what it was. I think it was the reefer and the fucking nicotine gum. I think it took me to a different level. You know what I'm saying? I've been having problems with medication lately. A few weeks ago, it was reefer and NyQuil.
Well, that's frightening, man. You're like,
Jesus Christ, I did
Black
NyQuil
and
and edible. Don't ever eat an edible and do NyQuil, Jack.
oh man.
I thought I was going to die in the middle of
I'm
the night.
afraid of the edibles. I had some cookies
Nah,
last
you can
year.
eat
It was
that.
like
That's
waiting
like-
for
that's
an
like
illness
40
to
milligrams.
pass.
That's like
Some of
40
this
milligrams.
shit, you know, I just
Yeah,
moved
you
to
just can't eat a
Los
ton of
Angeles.
it.
Some of this edible shit frightens
you
me.
just can't eat a
half a
dick.
gummy bear, and you're like, you know.
No. We're not going to meet it up tonight. I'm going to meet him tomorrow, too. I got to meet him sometime. Lee might have to even go meet him. That's how busy. You might not even have to go because he can only come at 11 o'clock tomorrow. My man from Force One Stars bringing it in so he can go deep this week with Dick Syatt. His dad's coming from Florida. He
Where's
loves
your dad live? I'm from Florida.
He
Where's-
loves the
Boynton
stars
Beach.
of death. His
My
dad.
cousin is a cop in Boynton Beach.
There you go. Next time you get pulled over, he's got a friend in Boynton Beach. See how it works out?
I had a thing happen to me. I was driving to the airport. I was in Orlando for the holidays, and when I was leaving, I went to get to the Orlando airport. I've been there a million times, but I came at it from a different direction. I was on this like turnpike thing, and this expressway. I missed my exit, and somehow I got thrown onto the Florida Turnpike. And this has never happened. I'm from Orlando. I've been to the airport a million times, and I was running a little late. I mean, I had to, I'd drop off this rent-a-car and then make it to the airport. My flight's like at 7 a.m. So this is like already like whatever it is, 5:30, 5:45. I'm cutting it way too close. And I'm about to be thrown onto the Florida Turnpike heading towards Miami. So it looked like the only thing to do, there was this, like, it looked like about the size of a curb and then about the width of a sidewalk. This kind of median between where this on-ramp to the off-ramp that was going the opposite way. And I drove over this, and I had this little tiny Prius and it kind of got stuck on the sidewalk length was about how much it is between the tires or whatever. I'm like kind of, so I really had to like rock this car and like I'm flooring the gas, and then finally like it gets over and it's like smoking, and you could hear it just that crunch, bottom out. I made it over the thing, get into this other lane, and the guy sitting there at the money collecting booth. I go, what do you want me to pay you? And he goes, well, you have to pay. It's $5 from the last exit. I go, $5, sure. Give him the $5. Made it, dropped off the car, and made it to my flight in time. So that's always why you should get full coverage on the rent-a-car.
Jesus Christ.
So you can do shit like
God,
that.
shame on you for renting a
Had I
fucking
not
Prius.
gotten full coverage.
Those fucking tin cans, you get hit, the car blows up and shit. You die from electric shock and shit. Oh my God, I hate those fucking
But
cars.
we've had to go through to make it to flights, to get to gigs.
Sometimes it's a fucking nightmare. That's why I leave the first flight out always.
Really?
Yeah.
You like those early flights?
Yeah, it gets it out of the way, and I'm there, and that's it. I don't have to go in the night before and waste time. I get out of LAX at 5 in the morning if I have to. That's the first flight out to most of these cities, so it gives me a jump. I get in even on the East Coast. I get in at lunchtime at 1. 5 o'clock gets you there. When I get out of LA, when I get out of New York, I get that 5:45 flight. Ooh, on a Sunday, it gets you back at 8:30 a.m. like a doctor. You drive up that 405 like you own it. You're the only one on there. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody on there. I land at 2. I got to drive another hour after I get home. I'm 53. I got one foot in the grave, one a banana peel. I think I got 2 hours to drive on the fucking 405. And people don't get that. And they get mad when I tell them, listen, I'm not going down. They wanted me to go down Wednesday and meet these people. And I'm like, listen, let me tell you about my life. I leave Thursday. When I leave on Thursday, I don't go over the hill because I only got fucking 3 days. The baby goes to school tomorrow, so that gives me a little grace. Tomorrow and Wednesday, it's good because Mondays, I got the kid. The kid, you don't know when she's going to fall asleep. I don't know what detail my wife has to do, so I don't really have a schedule. If it's an envelope, yeah, then we have to go pick up an envelope. But if it ain't no envelope, you want to talk to me about a movie, it can wait. It could wait because I have the baby. I don't know when I'm going to see the film. You know what I'm saying? So Mondays, I chill. I really take it easy on Mondays unless it's an audition or I got to go. It's something positively, absolutely, like Federal Express. If not, I try to keep it light. Today I had a few dumb things. All 3 of them were a waste of my fucking time. Thank God I got to work out there. You know what I'm saying? Look at you, Syatt, looking good. Bold. Your eyeballs are fucking...
I'm high as fuck.
Fuck yeah.
I was thinking, when you guys were talking about those gigs, I used to go to some of those like hotel gigs, and it's like, I used to love finding a new comedian. Like I was emailing back and forth with this guy. He said he went to a midnight show and some of the comics weren't that good. I said, yeah, but isn't it really fun when you find a new comedian to like as a comic? Is it fun for you to like go around to all these places and find new good comics? Like I used to.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
love it.
But I like that you say that, like just being the fan of it and then cheering for a guy. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you as well. You meet young guys, and they're going to be great comedians, even if they have no self-esteem and they live in the middle of nowhere. Certain people, and then other people develop, and then it clicks for people later in life. And you definitely make friends with comedians, and you're cheering for them. And then other people have addiction hang-ups that they have to navigate.
No, yeah, it's
I know comedians all over the world, man. I wanted to do this show where I'm the Anthony Bourdain of comedy because I do these shows, comedy all around the world. So I wanted to go around the world, check out, highlight comedy scenes, or check out comedy scenes, highlight comedians from those places, and then also see what people are making jokes about in other countries. There's all these gigs in Asia now. And I was in Hanoi last year. I went to Vietnam 20 years ago when I did Viva Vietnam for Comedy Central. I went there and did this hour special where I, went all over Vietnam and had fun for the guys. We didn't get to have fun, whatever. So it was the first time I had been back in 20 years, and they have stand-up now. And this young comedian in Hanoi opened up for me. He's 19 years old. His all-time comedy hero is Eddie Murphy, Delirious. So this guy, He's 19. He's just been on comedy for a couple months. But everything he delivers is like Eddie Murphy in Delirious, because that's his hero. You know, when you're on your scooter and your girl is on the back and you're driving through town, like, you know, he's got no material. He's a young comedian, but, you know, the guy's in Hanoi and he's, you know, he loves comedy, he loves Eddie Murphy, you know? I mean, how are you not going to fall in love with a guy like that and cheer for him?
Comedy's everywhere now. Gabriel was telling me a story about going to, you know, somewhere where we're supposed to be at war with them. Gabriel went somewhere and he said the people were fucking tremendous, that they were saying when you go back to America, tell them what we're really like. We're not these people that they portray in the media. And the one guy said, I want to be a stand-up comic, so Gabriel went and watched them do comedy, and he goes, it was fucking hysterical. You know, just to see other cultures, what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
I just worked with a kid this week, and his last name was Patel. I worked with two really good comics. And the Patel kid was killing me Friday night, talking about Muhammad and all this shit. You know, it's just great to see comics starting out. It does something to you. And now that you're not drinking, you really connect. Now that you see, I did a Tony Hinchcliffe show, and I was telling Lee that night, I saw something in their faces that guys like you and I used to have at that 5-year mark, that acceptance. There's a part when you get accepted as a comic, like somebody above you accepts you, that just brings a different type of thrill to your soul. When somebody says, hey, come on, let's go have a drink. That's it. You've arrived, you know? And you're having a drink with this guy, and you ask him about talking jokes, and he offers you to take you to Minneapolis, whatever. That's what this whole thing is really about sometimes, you know? And you're right. Some of us have drug issues. I mean, I'm very lucky I did not die on the road. You know, I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky I didn't die in fucking Beaumont. I'm lucky I didn't die
I can
in
relate to
Miami.
that sentiment,
I'm lucky
my
I didn't
brother.
die in Houston. There was a lot of nights, boy, that were fucking ugly across this country. That would have been horrible to go into a hotel room to find me, you know, and I'm really happy I didn't go out that way. We're all gonna fucking die, but we all could choose.
Yeah.
I did not want to die like Jim Morrison. I did not want to die like that. There had to be something better for us, and I'm happy it's behind us now. I'm happy it's really like I will tell you one thing. I only slept 3 hours on fucking Saturday night, so I get on the plane. There's 23 motherfuckers on the plane. I'm upgraded 2 times to first class. You understand me? They not gave me 1 seat, they gave me 2. I'm sitting there by myself. I get on the plane. The breakfast was phenomenal. It was a French toast souffle that I had on the way there. I usually don't eat French toast or take the chance, but I was already sick.
French toast souffle.
The little fucking nut with a little syrup, tremendous. They gave me a little fruit cup, the toot, and a fucking biscuit that was drier than death. I thought I was on fucking Papillon Island. Unfucking believable. American Airlines, upgrade you, first class. The biscuit was drier than dick. Okay.
Papillon cracker.
Oh yeah, the fucking Papillon cracker. What was I talking about? Oh, American Airlines. No fucking movie. But let me tell you what I had, gentlemen. I went deep. I had no reefer. I usually have like a pill or two in my luggage. You know what I'm saying? There's always something in my luggage. I'm one of those dudes. I'm one of those dudes. When you look deep, there's always something. It looks like a blood pressure medication, but it could be a half a Xanax or something. I looked through that luggage at the hotel. There was nothing. I was so like on the plane. I took a little nappy noodle for about an hour. I heard the pilot get back on. Okay, we're back on track. We got about 4 hours. 4 hours, no movie. I said, fuck it. I called the lady over and said, listen, do me a favor. Let me get let me get a Dewar's and ginger ale. What was the last time you had Dewar's and ginger ale?
I could never drink scotch. Scotch was something I could never handle.
Jesus Christ. This fucking wench comes back and she goes, I don't know if I told you. You got upgraded twice, so I'm bringing you 2 bottles.
Oh, shit.
When somebody brings you 2 bottles outright, you got to go, Lisa. And I sat there like a doctor. And I poured the fucking scotch in first. I let the scotch collaborate with the fucking ice cubes, you know what I'm saying? To get that boldness, bitterness away. Then I dropped the ginger ale in little increments like a Jew, you know what I'm saying? Like a Jew in the desert. And it bubbled up. And then I gave it another minute, and I put the stir in, and I took the stir. I stuck the stir in an ice cube, and I ate the ice cube with just the fucking, with the toots on it. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of motherfuckers live like that.
I love the image of you doing this by yourself.
Oh my
on a
God,
plane.
like a doctor.
Just by yourself.
Like a doctor. And when I looked to my left, there was nobody in those seats. So I was scratching my nuts through my jeans. I was picking my nose. I was having a party over there first class. You usually got to go to your bathroom and scratch your nuts. Fuck no. I just popped that zipper down and stuck that arm in there. If you caught me, you thought I was fingering myself. I was scratching those nuts like a doctor.
Did you undo the button on your jeans? I did
No,
that
no,
a couple
no,
of times.
no.
You didn't do that?
No, I just opened up my zip and stuck my hand and scratched my balls. I fucking picked snots out of my nose. I was over there by myself. There was one lady behind me. She was passed out. I had those 2 fucking scotches, and I fucking passed out, guys. 20 minutes before the plane landed, I got up like I was feeling fucking tremendous. Scotch ain't bad. Listen, Scotch is not bad if you drink it. 2 of those motherfuckers, maybe 3.
My dad used to drink Rusty Nails, Scotch and
Drambuie.
Drambuie. Yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'd take a little sip off the top. Just that top part was nice.
You know what, bro?
But Scotch,
I used to snort coke with fucking Rusty Nails. That's when you know.
What's a rusty nail?
Scotch and Drambuie.
Like
My dad taught me how to
gasoline with gasoline.
From the time I was like 10 or 12, my dad taught me how to make it for him perfectly, and so I spent my whole life making him Rusty Nails.
Back in the day, that was my shit. Rusty Nails.
I liked for a long time. I drank Crown and Ginger. That was always
when you
delicious.
did a couple blasts. What was your favorite drink of choice when you did a couple blasts before you went to the beer? Because after a while, that alcohol burns right through you. So once you go, before you went to the beer.
Well, back in the Coke was probably Crown and Ginger.
Crown and Ginger, that's a good one.
I always liked vodka and anything. Vodka was like what the supermodels drink because it has less sugar, and I always loved vodka. Vodka's straight on the ice, probably.
I drank too much vodka as a kid to like it as an adult.
Well, vodka goes with anything, also.
With Gatorade.
You can mix vodka with fucking.
I remember drinking
Gerber's baby food.
I remember
and it's
drinking
fucking gonna work.
fucking a quart of vodka with iced tea, and then going home, passing out, getting up in the middle of the night, and there'd be iced tea in the pitcher, and you drink the iced tea and you want to vomit because that's what you were just drinking with the vodka. Oh my God.
I got a story for you, man. I was in San Francisco years ago and partying all night in my hotel room. I had all these people over from the club, waitresses and comedians, and we were up drinking tons of vodka and partying. Anyway, I woke up the next day and I was totally hungover, and I made coffee, and there was a cup next to the bed. I was just hungover and probably still half fucked up. I threw the cup of water in there, and then I made the coffee in the little tiny hotel coffee machine, and then I took a sip, and it was vodka and coffee, what I made. And so I took the sip and I was like, oh fuck, that's vodka that I made the coffee with. And then so I thought to myself, wait a minute, this could be like the next peanut butter and jelly, or about Reese's peanut butter cup. Remember the old commercial? Guy's walking with the chocolate bar in the park. He trips, goes into the girl's jar of peanut butter. How sexual was that commercial, So that's like how Reese's peanut butter cups were invented. So like I thought, oh well, maybe I'll give this a try. So I took another sip, and it is definitely not the new Reese's peanut butter.
But if you put cream in that motherfucker, you could have saved it.
I should have doctored it.
You ever smoke crack and you put it in the microwave oven and it don't come back? Like
sure.
You put
when that happens.
Listen, dog. When you put let's say somebody comes over with a gram and they want to cook it up, right? They throw some Coke, they throw some microwave in there.
Normal Monday.
I'm trying to teach Lee, just in case. So let's say you take a coffee cup, Lee, and somebody comes over with a G bowl of root. That's how you tell if the Coke is good. You throw it in the water. You put 3 fingers of water in the cup. You throw the Coke in the water, and then you throw like a tenth or maybe 2/10 of baking soda in. You put the microwave at 30 seconds. You put that in there. When that motherfucker goes bing, you take that thing out, and there'll be some particles flowing. And you take those chunks out, and you let it dry. And you look at it, and that should be a gram of Coke. Because if the Coke was good, it should be maybe 9/10 if the Coke was really good. If it's Fugazi Coke, you get back like 5/10 and you're pissed fucking off. But there's people who could throw that back in there. They were like Houdini. A couple Puerto Ricans do it. A couple of weird people like Colombians. They throw some baking soda in, more baking soda, and you take more back. So these guys know how to throw more baking soda in there, put it in there for like 10 seconds. Bing! They take it out, and they take like an extra 2/10 back. A lot of people don't know that. Might as well drop it on you right now on a Monday night.
Where else are you going to get this kind of knowledge?
Where else are you going to get this kind of knowledge? How to bring back Coke, you know what I'm saying? You never smoked a piece of Coke, Tom Rhodes, anywhere in your life?
Oh, I tried it years ago.
Fuck yeah, Houston, Texas and shit. Houston was my favorite. Houston was one of those places I should have died at.
Yeah,
and
me
that's
too.
and that's even without exaggerating. I would eat like a fucking animal. I would drink like a fucking animal.
Yeah.
I was sleeping like an animal.
I worked with you in Houston.
Yeah, please, a couple times. I worked with you. I did that fucking room.
I did it with Hedberg a lot, too.
Hedberg a lot.
That was
That
great.
was when you guys brought comedy to Houston. That was when Houston people knew there was something fucking big happening here. When you had come back to do that co-headlining spot with Hedberg, I still remember that. That was like, what? What are you saying? What the fuck are they saying? Hedberg and this fucking guy
we
together?
both took less money to do, so we could work together, just because we loved hanging out.
So wait, Joey, did you open for Tom?
Yeah.
So how many people do you have relationships with like this? Where like, do you, like 20 years later, 10 years later, you guys are friends in
This
LA?
is what comedy is.
That's crazy.
You know, he could disappear for 3 years. He comes back, I bump into him, I give him a hug, we talk shit, we smoke a number, we don't smoke a number.
I got a lot of photos, and I got those out of storage also, and I just looked through, I got to look back through them more deeply, but like, I got tons of photos of you and us that week, and it's remarkable because, you know, I don't feel old, but I look at those photos, I'm like, man, you and I, like, we look young. And
I got headshots done about a month ago. I haven't even developed them. Every time I open it, I go, Jesus Christ, what happened? Like, what really happened? And lately, I've been doing the math on my friends, you know, some of these guys. I talked to a girl today that legitimately I know 40 years. When you know somebody 40 years, you're fucking old, Jack. You're fucking old, okay? You know, I mean, that's it. This is it. This is it, you know? And like I've said 1,000 times, like I loved growing up in Jersey. I loved my neighborhood. I loved those people. I loved where I grew up in conjunction in New York City, how I was able to just take a bus and be in the city in 8 minutes. That doesn't exist no more. The traffic is fucking quadrupled since then. But I always thought, like I said, you know, I always thought that one day I would close my eyes and go back to North Bergen and everything would be the way it was. All my friends would still be at the bar, snorting blow, listening to Bruce Springsteen, you know, whatever. And that doesn't even exist. That doesn't even exist. These guys are Christians or whatever the fuck they do now. And my one buddy works at UPS, and, you know, it's dead. Like, that's it. This is it. We're in the final fucking countdown, Tom Rhodes. And we love it. I love it. How do I feel? I feel like I'm fucking 30.
Yeah.
Because I'm living how a 30-year-old should live, you know? I'm trying to live, drink a lot of water, get sleep, no drugs, a little bit of reefer. You know, yeah, that's the fucking recipe. What else? Reefer, some fish, shoot that fucking sperm out of your helmet twice, 3 times a week. You're a new fucking man.
Sounds like we're on the same diet.
Yeah, all you need to do is give blood once a month, like an ounce, so you like 16 ounces. You give blood once a month. You're a fucking new man. Once every 2 months, your heart makes that new fucking blood. Your stomach gets harder. You get that old brown blood out of your helmet.
You give blood once a month?
I try. I go down to the doctor's office and I make up some bogus excuse. I'm getting dizzy. So they take blood out of my fucking arm. You know what I'm saying? 4 ounces, whatever the fuck they take. But that makes your body make new blood, you know? Something. Some water, some garlic. Bam! You got a whole new dose of fucking blood. You know what I'm saying? You're a vampire's fucking fine. You know?
I feel like you just made all that up.
I think I did too. But it works for me in my head. Somebody once told me that that's why women don't die of heart attacks, because they bleed once a month. And it makes a lot of sense.
Is that true?
Well, that's why women don't. How many women you know who fucking punch a ticket while they're fucking roller skating and shoveling snow? Not too many. Guys always die shoveling snow and fucking
Women
waking
don't.
up and putting their shoes on and shit. Why do you think I don't put my shoes on in the morning no more? I have Mercy do it. I give like $1 in a little bank account. I don't put my shoes on. That's bad luck. You gotta find somebody to put your shoes on. That's success.
You have mercy putting your shoes on?
Anybody I bump into, I haven't put my
That's
shoes
great. That's fantastic. You know,
No.
Charlie Chaplin never wore the same pair of socks twice after he got famous because he was so poor when he was a kid. He never wanted to wear the same pair of socks twice. That was his thing.
That's an interesting tidbit you
Yeah.
just dropped on me, dog. I'm gonna have to go home and
That's
watch
cool.
it.
I think so. Like real success would be having somebody put your shoes on for
Can
you.
you imagine that?
Yeah.
Just sitting back every day.
That's emperor shit.
And ringing a bell and somebody puts your shoes on. They cut your toenails first, put cream on your feet, then put your socks on. Make sure the top is all tight. You know how you always fuck up and leave the top rolled over? They make sure they rub your calf and shit, loosen up the blood. Then they put the shoe in for you. That's success. You understand me? That's what I need. Somebody to do that, roll joints. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk much. You don't know the language, something, you know. Because that's all. You can't find somebody white to rub your calves and put your shoes on.
Who do you think would be the best at it?
It had to be somebody from another country, somebody.
Well, yeah, what country?
But somebody would be cool. Somebody who would be cool. Like somebody who would be knowledgeable. Maybe he was on the run for murdering somebody in Bulgaria or something. He wants to come here and rub people's feet. I don't fucking know, Lee. You know what I'm saying? Why you put me on the spot like I'm Trump or something like that? The fuck is
That would be
wrong?
like the least worst thing you said. Like, you think someone's gonna be a good joint roller? That's not bad for you.
Dog, somebody somewhere has a joint roller. Snoop Dogg.
Fuck yeah.
I heard years ago. Who was it? Friend of mine told me. And this was, Jesus, I don't know, 30 years ago. It's got to be total horseshit. They said that, was it Kevin Costner or one of those actors had, or no, maybe it was, shit.
Don't throw nobody under the bus unless you know for sure, okay? Kevin Costner's got to turn
No,
his...
what's his name? The guy, Han Solo. What's it?
Lee, hook me up here. You know?
Harrison Ford.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's
he's a
Harrison Ford,
professional
Kevin Costner,
celebrity.
one of those guys like that. It's a friend of mine, yeah. And the friend who told me was non-show business person, so I don't even know how he would know. But it just it seems cool. He said that he had a joint roller, and that was the guy's job. That just to make sure that he always had a joint ready. And the dude's name was Sloan. So whenever he wanted a joint, he would say, Sloan! So, like, I heard that, like, fucking 30 years ago. It might
I
not
know
even
for a fact.
might not even be true, but I just
No,
like that
I know
image.
for a fact that the pharmacy in Hollywood 10, 15 years ago, when this whole weed thing, they would close at 7:30. And somebody wanted to ask him, why do you close at 7:30 instead of 8? He goes, because at 7:30 is when Harrison Ford would come in with Calista Flockhart. And they would cop weed down there. I don't even know if the pharmacies are still around. No one of them closed. There was one in Venice. That was the hot spot for weed. You know how much I was dropping in there a month, guys?
How much?
$5,000.
Wow.
I put $4,800 on a credit card in there one month. My wife
What the fuck were you buying?
almost threw me out of the house.
How did you explain it? What did you get?
And you forgot diapers on the way
You
home.
know, I was shooting something, and I was bringing shit on the set for people. You know, I was fucking going on the road and taking it with me. You know, this is when lollipops were $15 a fucking piece. I'd buy 10 fucking lollipops to go to Houston, you know. I'd walk out of there with 2 bags. 2 fucking bags. This is before the podcast era. This is the truth. I'm not kidding you. I remember my wife sitting me down and going, yo, you put $4,000 on a fucking card in weed charges. Are you fucking crazy?
I think that's like 120 a day, right around there.
I was going in there some days and dropping 220, 300, 200. They had everything, Lee. Ice cream, cakes. They had fucking everything.
Have you tried the pizza at Sunset, whatever?
No, you didn't get
I
it.
didn't get it, but I saw it.
Weed pizza?
Yeah, well, it's.
I
it's
brought
like,
it home one night. I don't know what happened to me. I fell asleep, and I must have had 2,000 other edibles in my bloodstream. So
Because it's apparently like, I think it's like $250, and she said it was like you didn't even taste the weed. So I was thinking about it, but I didn't know if you had it or not.
unless you're gonna sprinkle some more weed on that motherfucker to double check it, put some mozzarella on that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Let me do some shout outs, and we'll get the fucking underlay on here. Chaz DeMoro, Bob Lalingas, Bobby Sharon, Anthony Kelly, Rob Bradley, Brian Austin, or Os, I don't know. Paul Island, Lorne Rosenker, and Os Warrior. I love you cocksuckers. Tom Rhodes in the house, talking about our Houston cocaine craziness days. You were, like, when I started, you were, like, fucking booming already. Like, when I started traveling, you were already booming. And then in 95, you came to Seattle, and I was doing, like, a gig, and you did a gig with, like, Janine Garofalo and 2 other people. It was like a 4-comic show or something like that. You still had the long hair. And then when I first moved to LA in 97, 98, I saw you at the Improv one night. You were holding on to the wall. The show had just been canceled maybe 2 or 3 weeks prior. You were a gentleman, you know, and then you took off. You said, fuck it, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You did all your travels. Then I bumped into you in Houston when you had the show. And you had the footage of you and the singer from fucking dun, 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 whatever the fuck, Radar Love and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, when I had the late night talk show in Amsterdam.
Yeah, all this shit I still remember. I mean, you know, you're the real fucking deal, man.
Yeah, it's great because I left
you're the
LA.
real deal, bro.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
You're the real fucking deal.
No, we've always, been tight. And
it's amazing how you do this long enough and you see these guys and you look at them and you go, you know, I was watching you at the store the other night and you're a fucking monster. You're a fucking monster. I look at you and I go, yeah, 20 years plus. You just navigate and you take them into weird places. You set yourself up, you know. If you were a jiu-jitsu guy, you'd let guys get on top of you. Yeah, grab my neck. Go ahead. Grab my neck. Harder. What'd you just do, mister? I told you to grab my neck. You know, there's some comedians you're the king of that. It's like you said, the lights got off. So what? Who gives a fuck? We got no lights. You got ears? Come on. Let's go. Let's do this show. That's what a true comic does. You know, like you said, listen, let me tell you something. If it was just me and Terry right now and that little girl wasn't there, I'd be out constantly. I'd do this podcast Sunday and Monday, and I'd be on a plane Wednesday morning. That's it. I'd be out there banging it out, going to places, Lee, that most people wouldn't go to. There's a club now, whether it's Toledo, you go to Maine, you go someplace in Michigan, you know, in Milwaukee. You go to these places, and you always know one person. The week before you get there, somebody hits you up on Facebook. Hey, man, you remember me from the store? I came back. My sister got hit by a car, and I had to come back and take care of the shoe store. You know, whatever. You have no idea, Lee. Lee, you have no idea the people who will come out and see you that you look at and you go, wow, I used to fucking drink with you at the store. You were a kid. What happened? Because most of these people disappear one day overnight. And your mind is so, you know, focused on comedy that your mind doesn't even register till they hit you up on MySpace or Facebook and Twitter and go, hey, you're coming to Chicago. I'm going to come into the second show. What happened to you? Somebody called me in Charlotte, who I've known since 1983. I robbed a sandwich store in 1983, the In-N-Out House in Aspen, Colorado. It was across the street from the hotel. And one night I'm sitting there, broke, in this hotel, living in it. I'm like, fuck, I never robbed a sandwich store. That's the only chicken curry I ever ate, Lisa. He had a chicken curry on rye bread, like multi-grain bread in the 80s.
So what do you like? Empty the register. Make me a curry.
No. They were gone. I just kicked the door down. In those days in Aspen, nobody had an alarm. Nobody did nothing wrong in Aspen. There was no cameras. There was no burglar alarms. If you wanted something, you just kicked the door down. I mean, once a year, there'd be these burglaries, and you go, there was no alarm? But there was nothing like this. Nobody was dirty like me. And one day, I'm just sitting in this hotel, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm robbing this sandwich guy. And I kicked the door down. I probably got him for $600. And I got him like a few sandwiches or some shit. You know me, you got to take something to go. And the next day, the owner knew. But
you did
Steve
not wait around and make a sandwich.
No, I think I took.
He knew it was you. What, he followed the sesame seeds back to
No, they suspected it. I had just come into the area, and all of a sudden they got burglarized. But Steve stayed my friend, and listen to his story. He was at one time when I met him in '83, he was the house sitter for Colangine Longette. She shot her husband or something, and she married Paul Williams or something like that. Some fucking crazy story. His girlfriend was the house sitter. In Aspen, everybody has a house sitter. You know how people here have nannies? In the 80s, in Aspen, you had a house sitter.
I don't know what those do. What do you do as a house sitter?
Nothing. Like when I house sat, I had to do 24 hours of work a month. That's 6 hours of work a week. So that means either I mow the lawn or I shovel snow. Any other maintenance, he had to pay me. But he left his truck there. His house was to me. And the house sitter had the house in the back or next to, over the garage. You had like 1-bedroom apartment. And you could have a day job and a night job and not pay rent and just do 6 hours a week of work there. So on Saturday, you have to mow the lawn, trim the hedges, clean up the rocks, and on fucking, when it snows, you have to shovel. That's it. That's all I did. But I wasn't allowed to drive the car. I drove the car. He said you were allowed to go in the house and fuck with shit. I moved into the house. You know me, dog. I moved into the house. I was in the jacuzzi. I had a weighing cocaine room. I had a coke room. I had a room where I put victims while they sat there and waited for the blow. You should have seen me. I was sitting people down and calling them into the other room. It was craziness when I lived in Aspen in '83. My friend Jimmy Burkle was the original. God bless his soul. He's fucking dead as disco. I love him. I miss him. Sorry about this belt. And he fucking called me. I was living in San Francisco, about to get arrested. Okay, we had to go on the run and go to Reno on one of those buses, $15 a day, and they give you 15 and quarters when you get to the hotel there. So I'm in Reno. And in Reno, I had like an answering service. And they're like, you have 3 messages. And I called the answering service, and like, yeah, Jimmy Burke was set to call him. And I called him, and he was like, listen, man, I knocked up my wife, and I got this house-sitting job. I need for you to take it. You said you were coming up here. I'm like, are you fucking serious? That was like music to my ears. That's no rent, Lee. That's no rent. In fucking Snowmass Village. I get there, there's a car, there's a house. He's like, you can't go in the house. As I'm talking to him, I'm like, I can't go in the house. Are you fucking kidding me? That house is mine. That's mine. The guy only comes 1 week a year. He had 10 of these all around the world. This was one of his houses. In the year and a half I lived there, his daughters came out to ski one time for 3 days and left $1,000 worth of booze. They were spoiled kids. Her father was one of the originators of the one food chain. This was one of his many. I used to talk to him on the phone from all over the world because I had to call him before I spent money on the house. So I would call an answering service, and he would call me back like 2 days later. How you doing? I'm in Finland. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like a great gig.
But the gigs, sometimes you have to live on property with them. That sucks. It's good, but it sucks. But sometimes they're not there. And it's a write-off for them to have this house there. Jennifer Aniston has houses everywhere.
It just doesn't go to them?
No. She fucking furnishes them and puts somebody in there to watch them so nobody burglarizes those fucking houses and somebody lives in there you don't even know. They don't even know they're living in Jennifer Aniston's houses. They don't even know. They probably get hired through a service that does a background check and does what they do for a fucking living. How you like them there apples, cocklicker? What do you think about that, dog? What do you think you're dealing with?
I think that, why have a one-house dream,
TGIF restaurants.
Oh, that's what the guy owned.
His name was Dick Self. Dick! And my buddy Jimmy Burke would call me Dick. He's still working for Dick. Because it was Dick Kelly, Dick Doon.
You ever do Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in Vegas?
Never.
In the dressing room, he's got it framed. It's this spiral notebook that he was a waiter at TGI Fridays. And when you're a waiter, my brother was a waiter at TGI Fridays. They really make you learn the menu inside and out. They make you gotta take a test before you're like a bartender or a waiter there. So Brad Garrett has it framed to remind him, how good he has it as being a comedian. That at least he's not a fucking waiter at a TGI Fridays. It's right before you go out to go backstage to go on stage. It's like the last thing you see. I love that he's got his framed TGI Fridays waiter notebook framed.
You always have to have a reminder to let you know how lucky it is. I really believe that.
Yeah.
I really do. I have one every fucking day. Like, I have a reminder. Jesus fucking Christ. You know, I was having that whole puke episode that I had the other day. Was the main cause of it was anxiety. Don't believe the hype. It was anxiety. I had to leave my family. I haven't done it in 6 weeks. You know, it's not that I got lazy. I still go banging out every night like a fucking soldier of death. You just, it's a new adventure. I didn't know what to expect. And it turned out to be beautiful. I had a great time. The city of Charlotte was fucking great. The club was phenomenal. The people were great. The crowds were great. The staff, the food was great.
Where'd you play? The Comedy Zone?
The Comedy Zone. Let me tell you something. They got a Mexican restaurant upstairs, dog. And I'm not talking about no Hip Hop's Magoo Mexican restaurant.
Hip Hop's Magoo.
Yeah, I'm talking about these motherfuckers are related to El Chapo, okay? These motherfuckers could cook, Lee Syatt. Every taco I ate, I thought about you. Opening night, I had 2 chorizo tacos. Who makes chorizo tacos out of the fucking range? On flour tortillas. It was delicious, okay? I kept it light. That's what I had for dinner. I flew in. I didn't eat anything else. I didn't touch the rice. I didn't touch the beans, okay? The next day, I went back there, and the driver said, you have to have the shrimp tacos, have the carnita tacos, and have the chicharron tacos.
Was the shrimp grilled or fried?
Dog, it was mixed in this red sauce with onions. Nothing like this. These people are schmucks. These people here get a tortilla. They put some onions. They put 3 shrimp caught in the bay. Those little fucking bay shrimps. And they get those little fucking bay shrimps. And they give you some sauce. And it's garbage.
Yeah, those are. I don't like those. I like fried ones. But.
This was fucking sensational. I'll tell you how real they were. The chicharron tacos weren't the hard ones. It was the ones mixed in sauce. They taste like a pig skin. That's what it's like. It's like boiled pig skin. When they give you that, you know they're fucking real. The best thing they had was the carnitas. I mean, the pork tacos. And you know I don't eat pork. You know I don't eat pork. I'm not Muslim. I just don't eat pork. I don't eat pork on the road. I gotta know where this pig came from. Okay. I gotta know where this pig came from.
I'm not Muslim, but I don't eat pork on the road.
Yeah, I don't. I don't eat pork on the run. I swear to God, I bit into that taco. It was so fucking delicious. I ordered 2 to go. That's how much of an animal I am. And I didn't even make it to the hotel. I ate them in the car with the fucking driver. That's how stoned I was Friday night.
What about the place? You went to this other place, right? This Asian place, like this bowl place? I thought you were telling me about it.
I went to a spaghetti place.
Spaghetti place.
That was delicious.
Isn't that great too? Like traveling around the country, like cities all over America and
Jesus Christ.
I got favorite food spots I hit. I was in Fort Worth last weekend. The Flying Fish. It's this old place. It's been there forever, and they do this red snapper Vera Cruz. I go every time I go to Fort Worth. I go to it's this entire fish. It's got this tomato, onion, thick chunk sauce on top of it.
Let me ask
it's
you
just
something.
heavenly.
You mentioned them, so let me mention it to you. Anthony Bourdain, when you see that show, don't you want to put a gun in your head and shoot yourself? That was you. That's what you did for the last 20 years.
Yeah, well, I still want to do that. I want to make that show, but with comedy.
That's what you did.
I got comedian friends all over the world, and comedy's hot all over the world. I can still make that show. I made a lot of short videos. I have them on YouTube. I made like travel clips and trying to make a comedy travel show.
This is a web series that you could do.
But
and I guarantee the first season you will get picked up by somebody. If you do this
I'm still trying to make that show.
11-minute snippets and put out 1 a week on your fucking travels.
I got some on YouTube. I got Malaysia. I got Ireland. I got Hanoi, Vietnam. I got Cambodia. I've made some nice clips.
You got all these after the marriage. You had to have some footage before the marriage and shit of the real Tom Rhodes out there waking up on the floor with no shirt on and Bisbee fucking whatever, the Stanhope compound. The next day you're in Vegas, right? Because that's what this whole thing we were talking about in the beginning that people really don't know. When you're out there, Lee, you're out there. Some days you wake up on a beautiful fucking bed with a curtain and the room smells like Louis the Lilac. You know what I'm saying?
Who's Louis the Lilac?
I don't know, but I think he had very comfortable bedding.
then some days you wake up on a couch. That was the part about the road that most Gentiles, most people will never understand. When you explain to somebody about your life, and they're like, so tell us about what you do. And you're like, Tuesday night, I was in Charleston, South Carolina. Really? It was the hotel, nice hotel, lady. That club has what was the club in Cleveland that had the fucking sleeping in the back of it?
No, that was in Akron, Cuyahoga Falls.
Tell Lisa Syatt, Doug, that the fucking beer guy would come. You'd be sleeping on a cot. And the beer guy would have to push you over.
In the club?
They'd lock you in
In the back. You stayed. They had like an old warehouse storage space
Lee,
in the back
fucking around
that
Lee.
had been converted to apartments for the comedians.
What did you do as you walk in with your suitcase, all excited?
I knew I was never going to perform there because I can't do coke in the dark. I would lose too much of it.
Oh, I got a story for you.
Oh yeah,
I got a great story from when I played there.
Wouldn't they lock you in?
Yeah, I was there in February, and it was big snow drifts and massive snowstorms. So me and the other comedian were snowed in for the week. So it was like being in jail. It was like being in jail. They had a metal door in the back of the club. They would unlock it when the owner and the waitresses got to the club. You could hear them unlock that metal door. And it felt like being in jail. It's like, oh, now we can go into the club like at 7 or whatever. So there was no windows. It's really dark in there. This is, Jesus, I don't even remember what year this was, but it was just, I was the feature act. The headliner was this guy from Indianapolis. And he was like a portly, bald, pervert guy. Remember the USA Network? This is like, I think, the early 90s, maybe 89, something like that. The USA Network on cable in the afternoon, they had this Teen Dance Party USA show. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
So it was like somewhere like Texas or Mexico. All these like little teenage kids in bathing suits and bikinis. It was a dance show for like an hour. And like, so this guy's
just go on there, Lee?
It was like little teenage kids just dancing on, at a beach with bathing suits on. So, it was a show for kids, for like
no
teenagers.
one ever invited me to that show.
So this portly pervert guy that I'm working with, he's watching it every day, and they would do like a marathon of them, like 3 or 4 episodes back to back. So all afternoon, this guy's just sitting here watching these things, and we might have been smoking a little pot or who knows what. I mean, I'm probably 20 years old, and he turns to me one day and he says, "Want to watch videos of me fucking my wife?"
What?
And I say, who wouldn't? So he gets his video camera. And he he puts the wires onto the back of the TV, and he puts on this video, and he's like this fat bald guy, and his wife was like portly and unattractive. It was the last 2 people in the world you would ever want to see with their clothes off. And I think I lasted about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then I just went, I'm going to go read. So I went into my little room, and then I still had to stay with this guy for like 3 days. He showed, it was really uncomfortable. And I was like, man, who knows what else
I worked with a guy one time. This had to be 98, 99. This guy was infatuated with Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez had just released that album, and he would play it in his room over and over and over and over, and he would dance, and he had pictures of it. This was a grown man, guys. This was not a 21-year-old. All right, so I had to be maybe 38. He was maybe 42. He had lived in L.A. for 10 years, didn't do so well, and moved back to his hometown. And for 4 days, I had to work El Paso with him. He didn't do drugs, so I had to go in my bedroom and bring broads in there late night and shit. And all he did was listen to Jennifer Lopez. He was a grown man with a wife and kids.
Wow.
And it was something you couldn't even talk to him. Right away, Jennifer Lopez is hot, man. You have any idea how I can meet Jennifer Lopez? I mean, it was that fucking creepy. Like, I've never seen him again. And that's what you work with in those other clubs. You work with lunatics. You work with guys that came out here and something happened. There's a story. And now they're mad at L.A. People who live in L.A. suck dick. If you live in New York, you suck dick. You know, it's just, and it's a nightmare. Each of them have a fucking thing, so you got to deal with it. The best ever was El Paso. Some of my best stories had to be El Paso that I've forgotten. Like the Angel Salazar weeks, and it was just craziness, Syatt.
Remember, you could go over to Juarez was great.
Yes, you go.
Man, I had some great party nights in Juarez.
One time I got scared and I never went.
Really?
Yeah, one time.
The
first time I went over there. They're selling leathers and dogs on the street and shit. And no.
I had some good.
Oh, you could buy pills and shit and bring them over. No.
I came back
They
like,
give you
I don't know,
20
3, 4 in the morning, and
jail.
the border control guy, I said, I go, it wasn't as dangerous as everybody says or you hear about. And the border patrol guy goes, you got lucky. I guess, I don't know, maybe I did get lucky.
No, I was scared enough in El Paso. But one time I worked El Paso with a hypnotist. And this is my best fucking comedy story out of all those years that I remember. I still remember waking up New Year's Day, the millennium, 2YK.
Yeah.
He was there. Was that it?
Why 2K?
2000, yeah.
2000. And I worked with him, but he was a drunk.
People didn't go out that night on New Year's Eve. Remember, they were afraid. I was in San Francisco.
We had 60 people.
Yeah.
The Bart was pissed.
Everyone was afraid the world was going to explode because the number was going to roll to 3 zeros.
Oh, my God. This guy comes in, and he's drinking like a special scotch. The one that comes in a bag. Like, that's part of his deal.
Crown Royal?
No,
that's not scotch.
Maybe it's in a...
Crown Royal comes in a bag.
That's bourbon.
Yeah, it comes in a bag. And there was something else he's drinking. And he's just driving him crazy. He's smoking, he's snorting blow. You know, this guy's on fucking fire, right? Okay. So I wake up New Year's Day. I'm a little... I don't get high on New Year's. I usually don't get high on New Year's, which is bad luck. So I get up New Year's Eve, and I see that he's doing a kid show. All right? But the kid show starts at noon. It's 8:30. He's already got a half gallon of wine next to him, right? Oh, he's already got... You got Blue Apron over there, Tarzan? You're sitting there like a fucking bumpy. You see I'm over here confused. That's it. What's this? You got one page for your Uncle Joey? He's sitting there at fucking 8:30, guys, with a tuxedo shirt on, with suspenders, no pants on, boxer shorts, black party socks, and fucking shoes on with no fucking pants. Just sitting there smoking a joint, chasing it with a cigarette. He's got a little
Getting ready for the kids.
Getting ready for the kids, dog. He fucking decides to go in there and just eats the...
I don't know which one is what.
No, don't worry about it. He just eats a bag of dicks, but he's getting Bart mad because before the show, he's drinking those fucking shots. He's already bombed.
Been
when
up
he
all
gets to
night.
11:30.
Yeah.
When he tells me he's walking to the thing, I go, you know what? I'm going to walk down there with you because I got to see this. It don't take a genius to know this is going to be a train wreck. I walked him down there, skipping down the fucking hill like nothing happened. We go in there, there's kids everywhere. He goes right to the bar. I'm like, give him a shot. You know me. You might as well buy him a shot. Bart sees this magician, whatever the fuck he is, hypnotist drinking. He's going nuts. He's pacing back and forth. He does 2 or 3 shots before he goes on stage. Sure enough, he brings a kid up, and the kid looks at him midway, and he goes, you stink. The kid tells him he stunk. He stunk like booze, man. And he don't know what to do. The pigeons disappear. Bart's going nuts in the back. All of a sudden, kids are crying and shit. I'm in the back.
You just set this up and just watched it?
Listen, you have to. If you didn't know this is going to be a fucking train wreck, but here's the best. Now he's frustrated. He's at the bar. The turnout wasn't good because he got like a door deal.
Nobody's happy. The kids are crying. Bart's crying. The guy's crying.
The kids are crying. Oh my God, I'm fucking howling at the bar. Now, to make things worse, what do you think this fucking magician /hypnotist does?
He calls their mom's guns.
He gets a...
How could this get any worse? He pulls his dick out. I
He
mean,
orders
what
a
could
double.
happen? What happens?
He orders a double. And he lights another cigarette.
On stage in front of the kids?
No, at the bar. There's still
Oh,
kids there. They're crying. Kids want their money back and shit. He goes, let me get a double. And he sparks up a cigarette. And he's at the bar. He's jiggling the ice cream. I know this is going to get it. And listen, when the kid came up to him and asked him for an autograph or something, I forget what it was, I saw Bart's face get fucking red because he just took he took the cigarette and put it in his mouth and took the picture with the kid or whatever. And Lee, that's the beauty of the road. That you get to see shit like that. And that's like something that you'll think about your last 10 minutes on this earth. Like that vision should come to you of that doing that. Like I've never laughed that hard seeing that evolve in front of me. There was 10 more that I probably forgot.
So many scenes in your life as a comedian, you think, if you saw this in a movie, you'd think, there's no way that would happen, you know?
I was towing a car from Seattle to San Francisco.
I have questions already, but I'll let it go.
I'm towing a car from Seattle to Los Angeles. But the deal is, we're driving the trailer, and the car is in a hitch behind us. Okay? The girl I'm with, I say, drop me off at an open mic in San Francisco and come back and pick me up in 15, 20 minutes. I do the set, I come out, I call her. As she's going around the turn, I see the back of the fucking... the back of the trailer just fall. And she's still driving, but the car goes poof, and the trailer broke, the whole fucking thing. So we had to get it welded. So we had to take it to some shady neighborhood overnight, and we had to sleep in the trailer with the car in the back. Listen, guys, at 3 in the morning, an open mic started right outside the trailer. As pissed as I was fucking howling. She even woke up and said, well, what the fuck are you laughing about? You should be out there saying something. I go, listen to what they're doing. They were playing the guitar. They were smoking dope. And I remember howling to myself, nobody would ever believe this, that these people wouldn't play this guitar anywhere else right now, but like outside this fucking trailer right now. This is the shit that, I don't know. Do you travel, Lee? Who the fuck knows?
No, I'd like to eventually, but not right now.
Lee, if we fucking get the big time, then when you go on the road every weekend, we'll get you drugs.
Oh, no, not like that.
Yeah, no, what are you going to go out to do? Sleep in hotel rooms, get room service? What are you, 10? If you go out, it's to go deep into the hemisphere.
Hell yeah.
4 nights a week, drinking, passing out, bleeding out of your asshole. Tell him, dog. Tell him.
I never bled out of my asshole.
Well, you bled out of the fucking places. Anyway, let's give a shout out to the sponsors. Get the fuck out of here, Tommy Rhodes. It's late. People got shit to do and people
I
see.
love you so much, Joey.
No, I'm happy you can do it. I'm very happy, man. Okay, so you can admit it. The last thing anybody wants to do after work is wait in line at a grocery store, schlep home, and cook a complicated meal. It's expensive, unhealthy takeout is hardly any better. That's where a new service comes in. Blue Apron, Jack. Blue Apron delivers farm-fresh ingredients, step-by-step recipes to your home, allowing you to create healthy, handcrafted meals at home without going to the grocery store. For less than $10 per meal, listen to me, for less than $10 a meal, Blue Apron sends you fresh ingredients, perfectly proportioned, making cooking healthy meals real easy and fun. No trips to the grocery store, no waste from unused ingredients. Plus, you'll learn how to cook with specialty ingredients that are normally hard to find. Blue Apron is also perfect for date night, cooking with friends, and they even offer a family plan with kid-friendly ingredients so the whole family can eat well and have fun preparing the meals together. Each balanced meal is 500 to 700 calories per serving, and they taste so good you don't even know. You have no idea. And to boot, shipping is flexible and free, and the menus are always new. They won't send the same meal twice. They work around your schedule and dietary preferences, and Blue Apron experts source only the best seasonal ingredients. Listen, they've sent them to my house. Let me tell you what they got this week. Steak tacos. okay, with salsa verde. They got spicy orange chicken wings. For the family plan, they got hoisin glazed pork and spinach ricotta calzones and Manhattan-style fish chowder. That's the kind of... Who knows how to make fish chowder? Nobody, but you learn. Now that you do it one time with this, you'll cook incredible meals and be blown away by the quality and the freshness. Blue Apron is the better way to cook. Trust me. You work too hard to be messing with this. They get the meals delivered right to your door. No muss, no fuss. Everything is prepared for you. You just read the directions, bang it out, and by 6:30, you're in front of the couch eating like a soldier. Plain and simple. It's healthy. So that's it. Blue Apron. It's a better way to cook. Check out this week's menu and get your 2 first meals for free. Gratis by going to blueapron.com/Joey. That's blueapron.com/Joey. My treat, really, the first 2 meals are on me when you go to blueapron.com/Joey. How's that for you, Ricardo Montalban?
Sounds fantastic.
I'm happy that you're not drinking no more. That was good news.
Thanks,
you know what I'm
brother.
saying? Not that I give a fuck if you were drinking, but sometimes, and it's funny, you couldn't have done this 20 years ago. It's your wisdom. You know where you're going at some
Every
point.
warrior needs to move on to wise man.
You see what I'm saying, Lisa? You taking notes,
You know?
cocksucker? You're just sitting there like Zombo with your eyes all red. Anyway, Valentine's Day's coming. So I'll tell you what. One of the best things you could give somebody is MeUndies. And I'll tell you why. Because I wear MeUndies all the time, especially when I do different sporting events. If your boyfriend goes to jiu-jitsu or he wants to lift weights, he always wants to be comfortable. There's nothing that a man wants to do is lift weights over his head and his nuts fall out of his shorts. Nobody wants to be that fucking guy. Even if nobody sees him, you know it, and it's fucking uncomfortable and it fucks with your head. This is why MeUndies is for you. MeUndies is for you. I'm sorry, for you. What the fuck am I talking about? Don't be predictable and show up at your Valentine dinner with some last-minute box of chocolates or a bouquet of roses that are going to die in a week anyway. Give the gift everybody's talking about. Show your special someone just how much you care with a present you both love. A gift that looks great and feels great and in some ways says you deserve the best. Treat yourself and your boo to a matching pair of MeUndies, the world's most comfortable underwear. Let me explain something to you. For you motherfuckers that ain't romantic old motherfuckers. Drop it on them. You show up at your girlfriend's house with underwear for you and her that match, that's a tremendous ball lick. That's as simple as I can say. They pick up your helmet and lick that thing like it's the last fountain out there in the desert with Reese Witherspoon. When she was stuck out in the mountain out there, she was sucking that pipe. That's what they do. Anyway, this underwear is as comfy as it gets. MeUndies are made with micro Moldol fabric, meaning they're twice as soft as cotton. You understand me? Micro Moldol fabric. And they just don't feel great. They look great too. They may even make me look handsome. You gotta see my lower body when I got MeUndies on. I look like fucking Ricardo Montalban. MeUndies comes in tons of cool prints and styles, and new designs come out every week. You won't want to miss February's limited edition design from legendary artist Keith Haring. You know who that is? Tremendous. This retro design is inspired by love, making it the perfect Valentine's Day gift. Grab yourself a pair right now. Celebrate the holiday sporting matching underwear with your sweetheart. And MeUndies has a keep it for free guarantee. If you don't fall in love with your first pair, you keep them. You get your money back, no questions asked. And what I'm going to do is this. This year, Valentine's Day, head to MeUndies.com/Joey now and get free shipping and 20% off your first order. Don't wait there till the last minute like a mook. Get a matching pair this month, limited edition print while you still can, and get 20% off MeUndies.com/Joey. 20% off at MeUndies.com/Joey. Order before February 4th. That's Thursday. In the U.S. to make sure your pair arrives in time for Valentine's Day with no mistakes, no misunderstandings. That's MeUndies.com/Joey for free shipping and 20% off your first order so you can get it and you get up with the world's most comfortable underwear. And as usual, on it.com. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm looking so fucking handsome these days. I flew with fucking creepy looking people, even though there's 23 of them, and I made it. I ain't coughing, I ain't sneezing. You know why? Shroom Tech, motherfuckers. Not the sport, but the
immune.
Bam! Look at Lee Syatt dropping it fucking hot tonight. Also, the Hemp Force protein. I can't tell you how much I love that cocoa. With a banana, some water, bam. But who the fuck am I to tell you what to drink? They have a selection of shit that'll blow your mind from little potions with water, energy drinks, the testosterone booster. But do me a favor, don't take it from me. Go to Honor.com right now. Get the party started. Make the move. Go to Honor.com right now. You see something you like, go to the box and press in.
Church.
Boom! Get 10% off your first order delivered right to your house like a fucking soldier, all right? I want to thank MeUndies. I want to thank On It. And I want to thank Blue Apron, the best foods delivered to your house. Fresh, cocksuckers. Who's that? You know who it is. Anyway, where you at? Where you at in the next couple of weeks, Tom?
I'm in California. I'm in Sacramento next week.
At the Punchline?
At the Punchline.
Right.
And then I think it's the 15th or something. I'm doing Arcata. Have you ever done Arcata up in Humboldt County? It's where Humboldt State is.
Okay.
Fantastic place up there.
Is
Then
it a
I'm
club?
doing, it's called Jambalaya.
Okay.
I think it's the 15th. Then I'm doing Mill Valley, the Throckmorton on the Tuesday. This is just next week. And then the San Francisco Punchline after that.
You're fucking beautiful.
So I'm California for February.
Really?
Yeah.
And then where do you go in March?
Tacoma, Washington, the Tacoma Comedy Club. You ever done that? That place is supposed to be
I
fantastic.
got warrants in Seattle.
And then I'm doing Scottsdale, Arizona in March also.
You're a fucking animal, dog.
Yeah,
it's
baby.
it's a blessing.
That's what we do.
It's a blessing. You're still out there. You know, you look good. You're healthy. You're married. Sometimes, this is the thing about life. Sometimes what you thought turns into something else. And that's what makes it life. If it was as easy as you thought it was going to be, like some guy, I'm going to marry a nurse and grow up and have 10 kids. And next thing you know, you married some fucking Chinese chick. You end up in fucking Southeast Asia taking pictures of young kids for $4 a headshot. You know what I'm saying? Fucked up.
No, but it's good. Like, you know, I watch you, and it's just, you just keep getting better. It's just like
This is what we do.
You're a wrecking ball now. You know, it's beautiful to see. Like, I just turned 49 last week. You know,
Beautiful.
you're
God
just
bless
a couple years older than me. Just
Yeah.
to like be hitting our peak in our 50s.
If you would, again, Lee and I say this, that I would be out there working when I was 53 on the road, I'd tell you were crazy.
I mean,
So
like
you're
I've never
fucking
been.
crazy.
I've never been better. You know, I'm really excited. I'm working on my new hour, for my next special. You know, it's just fun and exciting again. I love it. I mean, it's always been fun and exciting, but like I feel like it's never been better. You know, and I watch you, and it's like, yeah, man, like Carlin. You know, that at the end, that was his best work that he ever did in his life. His like last 5 specials.
Right now, there's so many great, and I know you guys are sick of hearing it, but there's so many great comedians working that aren't in the rotation, which means they aren't the it comedians. You know, they moved back to New York, whatever happened, and these are the guys that Lee would go catch and go, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
And he would have like a Tonight Show credit or some suspicious credit, but it didn't matter. The guy was a great comic. He just didn't go down the right road or go to the right club, or just something must have happened. There's 1,000 of those guys across the country that have a day job that said, you know what? That shit wasn't for me. I'm blue collar. I want to work every day. I don't want people to tell me what the fuck to do and blah, 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 blah. You know? And they're still great comedians. You can't take it away from them. We go watch the people who are hip and who's in the circle, you know, all that shit, because that's what we do. You know, I would do the same thing. When I go to a list and I see a comic that's got heat, I sit and watch him. What the fuck? What the fuck? That's what it's all about,
Chip,
right?
you got to be aware of what's going on
You
in
got
your
to be
business.
aware of what's going on. So now I enjoy it. When I was out there pimping, doing drugs, I never went to comedy shows. Did you know that? When I was out there slinging dick, I never thought about sitting there for 2 hours. Fuck you. I got a package of blow in my pocket. I ain't sitting nowhere for 2 hours unless you're naked. Beat me down with a pogo stick or some shit. Let's wrap this motherfucker up. I'm going to be at the Helium in St. Louis Thursday through Saturday, and then on the 19th and the 20th at the South Point Comedy. For my birthday on the 19th, I'll be 53. Lee Syatt's coming. My man Larry's coming. Toking Lair's coming. Esther Koo is coming on the drums. And that's it. That's all I got to tell you, motherfuckers. As usual, always a fucking pleasure seeing you. Jesus fucking Christ. Unbelievable. I used to watch you on MTV when I first started and go, wow, look at him. He's fucking with the long hair, looking all fucking cool. And that's it. Lee Syatt, what's happening in your world, cocksmoker?
I'm
You
doing
looking-
great. I'm doing Life in Neutral. It's a new podcast. It's been I've like 4 episodes and
You and Johnny
doing
Rock?
great. Yeah, me and Johnny Rock. It's going great.
You're looking good. You going to kettlebells tomorrow?
If I can, yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll call you tomorrow morning. We'll figure this out.
Fuck yeah.
You're looking beautiful, cocksucker. Thanks for co-hosting this bitch tonight.
It was fun.
You gonna
Thank
put a
you
little
so
music
much.
on at the end?
Sure, but can I? Yeah.
Put a little music for us. Maybe a little fucking Wheels of Confusion by Black Sabbath or something like that. Set them off in the right state of mind, at least I had. I just heard that last night. I'm like, this is a fucking groovy goddamn song.
We'll continue this on my podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you want to switch to Periscope so I can turn off YouTube, if you want to, for the song?
Jesus Christ. I don't worry about it. Let's just go.
Okay.
I'll see you guys tomorrow, guys. Thank you. Stay black.